Ancient wonders are more than stone. They are impossible enigmas. We see precision that matches modern lasers' granite, cut with surgical ease, and megaliths weighing hundreds of tons moved across impassable terrain. Did the ancients possess a forgotten science, or were they guided by forces we no longer understand? From the mathematical perfection of the pyramids to the astronomical alignments of stone circles, these sites defy the history books. They stand as silent witnesses to a sophisticated past that should not have existed, leaving us to wonder if we are rediscovering a world we have already lost. Amidst the wild tropical forests of Sri Lanka, a massive rock suddenly rises skyward, concealing within it secrets that humanity has yet to unravel after thousands of years. Visitors may be amazed by the vivid frescoes or the remnants of ancient royal palaces, but the deeper one explores the structure of Sigiriya. The more overwhelming it becomes, especially when confronted with its hydraulic systems and engineering techniques that seem to defy the physical laws of their time. Here, in the heart of a harsh natural landscape, people created a city in the sky that is both beautiful and formidable, filled with mysteries that even modern technology sometimes has to admit defeat before. How do you think ancient people managed to build such a sophisticated hydraulic system atop Sigiriya? Do you have any theories or ideas? Let us know in the comments below. Thousands of years ago, in this wild and remote forest, one of the most ambitious construction projects of the ancient world took shape. The imposing rock of Sigiriya once served as a refuge for a king, Kassapa I, who chose this site as his center of power in the hope of making it invulnerable to all enemies. Yet unlike other fortresses, which often consisted merely of walls or watchtowers, Sigiriya was built as a hanging garden city with a palace atop the summit galleries, frescoes, pavilions, and most miraculously, a network of waterworks unrivaled in the history of humanity. Sigiriya is renowned not only for its formidable defensive value, but also for astonishing scientists with its complex, efficient, and enduring hydraulic system ingeniously designed and constructed by ancient people as early as the 5th century. In fact, many modern projects today still fail to reach such a level of optimization. The moment visitors set foot in this area, they are overwhelmed by a maze-like arrangement of reservoirs, moats, canals, dams, and water filtration tanks of all sizes encircling the foot of the rock. These constructions not only reinforced the site's defenses, but also served as a means to regulate, store, and distribute precious water to the entire stone city atop the mountain. The surrounding moats were dug deep and built high with multiple layers to control water flow, preventing flooding in residential zones and protecting the foundations from erosion. The canals and dams were meticulously engineered with precise gradients to ensure water always flowed smoothly without sediment buildup or unnecessary loss. Some of the larger reservoirs were lined with stone and equipped with both coarse and fine filtration systems, capturing debris and mud and providing clean water for daily life irrigation and even for the suspended gardens at the very summit of the rock. One of Sigiriya's greatest mysteries is the technique used to transport water to the upper tiers of the rock, a challenge for any ancient civilization. To maintain greenery, decorative ponds, and supply water to the palace, the ancients built a system of terracotta and stone pipes joined tightly and buried deep underground with settling and filtration points to minimize loss and leakage even across distances that could reach hundreds of meters. They also made clever use of the principle of communicating vessels channeling water from large reservoirs at the mountain's base into intermediary tanks, thus creating natural pressure that allowed water to climb to higher levels without any mechanical pumps. Especially noteworthy, some of these automatic fountains still operate during the rainy season, testifying to the extraordinary precision of their calculations regarding pressure and water flow, a technological feat far ahead of its time. Beyond that, Sigiriya's flood prevention, erosion control, and foundation protection technologies are equally remarkable. Beneath the solid stone lies a network of underground drainage channels efficiently directing all rainwater out and preventing seepage that could lead to subsidence collapse or structural damage. Large stones were strategically placed at weak points to distribute weight, prevent slippage, and ward off collapse. Notably, during heavy rains, the sedimentation basins capture mud debris and gravel, ensuring the water supplied to the upper levels remains clear and pipes stay unclogged. Miraculously, modern engineers have surveyed and confirmed that many parts of Sigiriya's hydraulic system have continued to function effectively for centuries, even without regular maintenance, demonstrating both its durability and its timelessly forward-thinking design. So why would a fortress need such a sophisticated and intricate water system? Some theories suggest King Kassapa sought to display power surpassing even the gods, proving that he could command water, the lifeblood of every agricultural civilization. Others believe the hanging gardens, swimming pools, and fountains atop the rock were symbols of prosperity, an earthly paradise where the king and queen lived, separated from commoners and all dangers amidst the clouds and waters. Many researchers also suggest Sigiriya's hydraulic system was an extension of religious and astronomical knowledge, with the placement of ponds and canals meticulously aligned according to sacred principles and in harmony with mysterious cosmic elements. Despite hundreds of research studies, Sigiriya still harbors a wealth of unanswered questions. Who was the true mastermind behind this sophisticated hydraulic system? There are no detailed historical records, and not a single blueprint has ever been found. The talented craftsmen, engineers, and architects responsible have vanished without a trace. What tools and construction methods did they use? While many terracotta pipes and stone basins remain intact, the techniques used to lift them to such heights and fit them seamlessly without any adhesives are still a complete mystery. How did the ancient builders manage such precise calculations for water volume pressure and gradient, especially in an era without modern measuring instruments? Some international scholars have even suggested that the knowledge used to construct Sigiriya's waterworks may have been lost to history or perhaps inherited from a much older civilization than the one described in historical accounts. In fact, several researchers have compared Sigiriya's hydraulic system to the great works of antiquity, such as the Hanging Gardens of Babylon or the Roman aqueducts, arguing that the engineering expertise here is not inferior, if not even superior, in certain respects. Sigiriya is not only a famous World Heritage Site of Sri Lanka, but also a place filled with major unsolved mysteries in engineering, art, and history. Beneath its ancient stones and sophisticated water systems, countless questions remain unanswered. Is this the extraordinary achievement of ancient people, or does it conceal a forgotten chapter of human history? Despite extensive research, Sigiriya still stands tall amidst the jungle, challenging the boundaries of human knowledge. Amidst the arid deserts of Jordan lies a mysterious ancient city, radiating a strange beauty and an irresistible allure. This is Petra, the rose-red jewel that has captivated countless generations of travelers and researchers around the world. Unlike any other historical site, Petra wasn't built from bricks, but is the result of extraordinary artistry. Its palaces, temples, and magnificent tombs were all carved deep seamlessly into massive sandstone cliffs. Honored by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, Petra is not only the pride of Jordan, but also stands as a monumental testament to the intelligence, creativity, and unresolved mysteries of an ancient civilization. It is this unique architectural style that has allowed Petra to endure through countless upheavals in history, becoming an immortal symbol that challenges both time and the imagination of humanity. What do you think of Petra's rock carving techniques? Could we replicate such feats today, or are there still many secrets left untouched? Leave your thoughts below to join the discussion. Petra was built by the Nabateans, an ancient Arab people famed for their intelligence and creativity around the 4th century BCE. Unlike other civilizations of its time, which constructed their cities from bricks or stone blocks, Petra was carved directly into the fiery red sandstone cliffs of a desolate valley. This not only blended the city seamlessly into nature, but also gave it astonishing durability. From afar, Petra appears like a mythical labyrinth hidden among deep gorges, a natural fortress serving as both a sanctuary and a hub for trade and religion. No visitor sets foot in Petra without being overwhelmed by Al-Khazneh, the city's most famous structure and its unmistakable symbol. The treasury stands tall, nearly 40 meters high, and more than 25 meters wide, its grand facade rivaling that of an ancient Greek palace. The truly marvelous aspect is that this entire masterpiece was carved in one solid piece into the red sandstone cliff. The perfectly balanced Corinthian columns, the intricate sculpted statues, and the symmetrical ornamental patterns were all chiseled from top to bottom, each hammer stroke, each detail executed with absolute precision. Such perfection continues to astonish even modern architects, prompting the question, how more than 2,000 years ago, without machines or cranes, could ancient people draw such a meticulous and perfectly proportioned monument on a sheer cliff face without a single geometrical error? But Petra does not stop there. The city also boasts Ad-Dir, the monastery in the sky, a structure even larger than Al-Khazneh, standing 47 meters high, alone on a mountainside, reached by hundreds of winding stone steps along steep cliffs. Though called a monastery, many theories suggest this was once a site for rituals or religious gatherings of the Nabateans. Its imposing facade, with 2 massive tiers of columns and vast, flawlessly smoothed interior walls, raises yet another question. How could they make the rock surfaces so even shape such symmetrical columns and maintain such precise proportions? Many archaeologists believe that merely transporting people, tools, and materials to that location was already a major achievement, let alone performing complex, high-precision stone carving. Along the eastern cliffs of Petra stretches the Grand Royal Tombs, where dozens of large and small tombs are carved deep into the mountain. Each tomb is a unique work of art, a skillful blend of Egyptian, Assyrian, Greek, and Roman architectural styles. This diversity not only showcases Petra's cultural strength, but also proves the invincible stone-carving expertise of the ancients. Massive domes, large columns, elaborate reliefs, false windows, winding staircases, all of these are not added elements, but the result of years, even decades of painstaking chiseling, each centimeter carved into solid mountain stone, transforming lifeless rock into eternal structures that defy the passage of time. Research shows that the Nabateans often began their constructions from the top of the cliff, carving downward, a method completely opposite to the traditional building techniques of most other civilizations. This meant that even a minor mistake at the beginning could put the entire structure below at risk of being destroyed or permanently deformed. It is truly difficult to imagine how they managed to measure a line and calculate proportions so that the enormous facade remained perfectly symmetrical and never out of balance, even though all the work was done completely by hand. Many theories suggest that the Nabateans used handmade angle measuring tools and plumb lines, yet the level of precision they achieved continues to astonish modern archaeologists. Some scholars have even wondered whether they employed the golden ratio or some special mathematical secrets that have since been lost to time. Beyond their remarkable carving techniques, Petra is also distinguished by its unique sandstone, featuring a rich palette of minerals from pink, orange, and crimson to yellow and purple. Each cliff here resembles a natural canvas with mysterious swirling color patterns, and the Nabateans seem to have deliberately chosen the most beautifully colored spots for their important monuments. They skillfully took advantage of sunlight at different times of day to highlight architectural lines and details, demonstrating a level of aesthetic sense and understanding of materials and nature that was far ahead of their time. Having withstood more than 2 millennia, Petra still stands proudly in the arid desert, resilient against earthquakes, sandstorms, and erosion. Choosing to carve directly into the cliffs rather than building with assembled stone blocks meant that these structures have almost no mortar joints, while the natural fissures in the rock also help absorb and lessen the impact of seismic events. This has contributed to Petra's survival, even as so many other ancient cities have been destroyed by the passage of time. Was this merely a coincidence? Or is it actually the pinnacle of ancient disaster-resistant construction techniques distilled and passed down through generations? To this day, archaeologists have yet to discover many of the original tools that were once used to carve Petra's magnificent rock faces. A few axe heads, chisels, or hammers made of iron or copper have been found, but all of them seem rather crude when compared to the astonishing sophistication of the monuments here, leading many to wonder whether the Nabateans once possessed special techniques or tools, or if those secrets vanished along with the decline of their civilization. Beyond that, Petra is truly a labyrinth, with countless tunnels, secret chambers, and small niches that have yet to be fully excavated. There are deep vaults leading into the heart of the mountains, many of which have never been explored, giving rise to all kinds of theories that perhaps they still conceal unsolved mysteries, priceless treasures, or perhaps simply served as shelters, food storage rooms, or ancient sanctuaries. Even the true purpose of many iconic structures like Al-Khazneh remains a subject of debate. Some researchers believe it was the tomb of Nabatean kings, while others see it as a temple for deities or a treasure vault, since the name treasury comes from legends of gold said to be hidden behind the stone walls. If such treasure really exists, has it already been taken, or could it still be lying somewhere within Petra's mysterious rock layers, awaiting discovery by future generations? Petra is not only proof of the creativity and resilience of ancient peoples, but also a gateway leading us to profound questions about the past. How did a small desert tribe create such a grand stone city? What knowledge and technology were lost with Petra's decline? Is Petra just one piece of a vast network of sites across the Middle East, linking civilizations more mysterious than we can imagine? Images of Petra, its rose-red hues in the setting sun. The facade of Al-Khazneh like a forgotten temple, ancient stone steps, narrow windswept paths never cease to stir the imagination. From films like Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade to thousands of scientific publications, Petra remains the silent giant of the desert, challenging every definition of architecture, engineering, and human mystery. To this day, Petra still holds many mysteries yet to be uncovered, from tombs deep underground and buried tunnels to traces of ancient rituals, religions, and interactions with great civilizations like Egypt, Greece, and Rome. All these secrets seem to be waiting for future generations to unravel, but no one knows whether modern science will ever fully reveal the wonders hidden here, or if Petra will forever keep its timeless secrets. When speaking of the radiant Maya civilization, one cannot overlook Tikal, one of the greatest and most mysterious ancient cities ever to exist in Central America. Deep in the Patane jungle of Guatemala, Tikal emerges as a monumental testament to the creativity, ingenuity, and extraordinary adaptability of ancient humans. But hidden behind the towering pyramids and vast plazas lies an intricate system of waterworks and reservoirs, a technical miracle that continues to puzzle modern scientists. What do you think is the greatest mystery of Tikal? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Tikal flourished from the 4th century BCE to the 10th century CE, spanning more than 1,300 years of glorious history. It was once the largest power, religious, political, and military center of the Maya. The city covered up to 16 square kilometers, with more than 3,000 architectural works, from pyramids, temples, palaces, and ball courts to residential quarters tucked under dense forest canopies. Strangely, despite its gigantic scale and dense population, at times estimated at over 100,000 people, Tikal stood in a region without large rivers, and its climate was divided into two extremes: long rainy seasons and harsh droughts. Looking at the map, Tikal sits in complete isolation, surrounded by endless forests, with not a single major river or natural lake in sight. Yet to sustain such a thriving metropolis, especially one with a population in the hundreds of thousands and massive infrastructure, the demand for clean water was absolutely critical, not just for drinking, cooking, bathing, but also for religious rituals, production, construction, and agriculture. In this region, rainfall is abundant during the wet season, but the dry season lasts over 4 months each year, causing all surface water sources to quickly dry up. Without a solution to store water, the entire city would face famine and collapse. Decades of archaeological surveys have revealed that Tikal's survival secret lay in an extraordinarily complex network of man-made reservoirs and waterworks. These reservoirs, called aguadas, were dug deep within the city, connected by water channels and vast settling basins. The entire main plaza, the base of the pyramids, and residential areas were all engineered with precise slopes so that natural rainwater would flow into the largest reservoirs. During the rainy season, water would flood the temple roofs, plazas, and every corner of the city, all paved with sturdy stones, creating natural waterways leading to the reservoirs. Millions of cubic meters of water were collected, filtered, and stored for use throughout the dry season. This system not only helped the Maya endure drought, but also maintained stable agriculture festivals and grand religious ceremonies. What astonishes researchers is the incredibly effective waterproofing technology of the ancient Maya. The bottoms and banks of the reservoirs were covered with a special mortar. Modern scientists have discovered this to be a mixture of limestone, volcanic ash, and a mysterious organic compound that created a waterproof, durable, and flexible membrane. Thanks to this, Tikal's reservoirs could hold water for months on end without leaking, even in harsh, sun-baked climates. Many settling basins featured natural sediment separation systems. Rainwater flowed through rock crevices, multiple filtering layers of gravel, sand, and activated charcoal before reaching the main reservoir. Some basins were found to have pressure tank structures slowing down the water flow and preventing silt from contaminating clean water. Notably, many reservoirs lay directly beneath major temples, serving both as water storage and as sacred sites where the Maya believed water to be a gift of the gods. In Maya culture, water was not just a source of life, but also a bridge to the divine. The largest reservoirs at Tikal were often tied to elaborate sacrificial rituals, rare offerings, and sometimes even human remains, all cast into the water to be sent to the gods. Some reservoirs were decorated with divine statues, intricately carved stone pillars, and ceremonial pottery acting as intermediary stations between the human world and the spiritual realm. Many ceremonies marking the start of the rainy season, rain-invoking rites, or agricultural festivals took place around the major reservoirs, creating spaces that were both sacred and unifying for the community. Constructing these reservoirs was not only a technical achievement, but also reflected the depth of faith and philosophical worldview of the ancient Maya. Although dozens of reservoirs and water channels have been discovered, archaeologists have yet to decipher the true scale of the system. Some underground tunnels, subterranean water channels, and even deep sky wells still have unclear functions. Some theorize that Tikal possessed a gigantic underground hydrological system connected to subterranean lakes, regulating water for the entire city during extended droughts. There are reservoirs large enough to provide water for more than 10,000 people for several months. Some scientists believe the Maya applied astronomical, mathematical, and geological knowledge to precisely determine reservoir locations, fully utilizing natural terrain. There remain many mysteries about the waterproofing materials, how they maintained clean water, and the technologies for water filtration that modern science cannot yet fully replicate by ancient manual methods. Beyond their monumental achievements, Tikal's waterworks and reservoirs also hid unforeseen dangers. Recent studies show that in the city's final phase, many reservoirs became heavily polluted by mercury, toxic algae, and decomposed organic matter, a result of overpopulation, deforestation, and lack of effective water filtration. This contributed to outbreaks of disease, food crises, and environmental problems, accelerating the collapse of the entire civilization. However, many experts argue that the reservoir system actually allowed Tikal to survive and thrive far longer than other Maya cities. Thanks to efficient water storage and management, they overcame many severe drought cycles that lasted decades. This system is living proof of the intelligence, adaptability, and far-sightedness of the ancient Maya. Today, many reservoirs, settling basins, and underground channels remain buried under soil rock and the dense vegetation of the Petane jungle. Some were found thanks to modern geoscanning technology, LiDAR, revealing the likelihood of many more unknown structures. The latest three-dimensional maps show that Tikal's waterworks network may be many times more complex than previously thought, with interlacing branches, deep wells, and underground systems running beneath the city. Many scientists believe that with more advanced archaeological technology in the future, even more astounding secrets about Tikal's water system and ancient engineering will come to light. Today, Tikal is not only a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but also a natural laboratory for archaeologists, engineers, and experts in ancient technology. Tikal's waterworks inspire solutions for water storage, drought prevention, and smart water management in many places around the modern world, especially in regions with water scarcity or urban water shortages. Reservoir construction, biological waterproofing materials, natural filtration systems are all lessons that modern specialists are still learning from the Maya ancestors. This proves that even after thousands of years, the wisdom of this civilization continues to astound. Despite unlocking many secrets about the reservoir system, Scientists are left with countless questions. Who first invented these techniques? How did they determine the optimal reservoir locations? What is the real formula for the waterproofing material? Does Tikal still conceal unknown waterworks, underground reservoirs, or drainage systems? And could the rise and fall of an entire civilization truly hinge on the management of water, the most precious resource in the depths of the jungle? Tikal is not only a monumental city of stone amid the jungle, but also a symbol of creativity and unresolved mysteries of humanity. The reservoirs and waterworks of Tikal are living testimony to the intersection of science, religion, and the ancient human urge to conquer nature. To this day, every mention of Tikal is not just about magnificent temples and towering pyramids, but also about bowing to the enigmas of its water reservoirs, the source of life, and the key to survival of one of the greatest civilizations ever to exist on Earth. Not far from Tikal, another Maya city holds its own share of mysteries. This is Chichén Itzá. If you have ever set foot in Chichén Itzá, the heart of the ancient Maya civilization on Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, you will surely be overwhelmed not only by the grandeur of its stone structures, but also by a series of unsolved mysteries that have persisted for centuries. Among them, the era-defying construction technology and superb stone joining techniques remain the topics that continue to puzzle scientists, engineers, and archaeologists around the world to this day. What do you think is the greatest mystery behind Chichén Itzá's construction technology? How do you think the Maya were able to join those massive stone blocks with such precision? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Chichén Itzá was not only the religious, political, and scientific center of the Maya, but also a brilliant testament to the society's organizational skills, urban planning, and exceptional resource management. From the 6th to the 13th century, it flourished thanks to a robust trade network and colossal stone buildings previously unseen in the history of Central America. The first astonishing feature: most structures at Chichén Itzá were built from limestone blocks, weighing tons, shaped with extreme precision, and joined so perfectly that not even a sheet of paper could be inserted between two stones. There is no evidence that the Maya possessed hard metal tools, nor any evidence of wheels or large draft animals. So what created this construction miracle? Archaeological research shows that limestone, the main material used to construct temples, pyramids, and ceremonial plazas at Chichén Itzá, was often quarried from sources located several to dozens of kilometers away from the building site. In the context of that era, when there were absolutely no carts, wheels, or draft animals like horses or oxen, the extraction and transportation of stone blocks, weighing tons through jungles and rugged terrain, was truly a challenge that seemed insurmountable. Several notable hypotheses have been proposed to explain this mystery. For example, the Maya may have used earthen ramps and tree trunks as rollers to move stones to the construction site, or they may have organized highly coordinated human labor with hundreds or even thousands of workers, pulling and pushing these massive blocks along sledges lubricated with mud or water. There is also the idea that the Maya might have employed a technique of temporarily lightening the stones by heating them to fracture the outer layer, and then assembling the individual pieces together right at the site. However, all of these hypotheses remain speculative, as there is still no archaeological evidence proving the existence of pulleys, cranes, or any kind of ancient mechanical system ever present in Yucatan at the time Chichén Itzá was constructed. What makes structures like the El Castillo Pyramid, the Temple of the Warriors, or the El Caracol Observatory at Chichén Itzá so remarkable is not just their massive scale, but also their incredibly precise stone joining techniques. The stone blocks here were cut, polished, and fitted together with an almost unbelievable degree of accuracy. In many places, no mortar or binding material was used at all. Yet these constructions have survived for thousands of years, enduring earthquakes, storms, and natural erosion. The greatest mystery lies in the following questions. What tools did the Maya use to cut and polish limestone so precisely? How did they manage to fit massive stone blocks weighing dozens of tons at great heights without any misalignment, subsidence, or cracking? And why do these joints remain perfectly locked for centuries despite having no support from steel, cement, or modern concrete? To explain this phenomenon, several bold theories have emerged. Some suggest that the Maya possessed the secret to making limestone concrete, a special type of mortar made from crushed limestone mixed with volcanic ash or plant resin. However, modern chemical analyses of the stones at Chichen Itzá indicate that most are natural limestone, not artificial concrete. Other scientists propose that the Maya once knew how to soften stone, using chemical methods to shape it more easily. But so far, there is no archaeological or experimental evidence to confirm this hypothesis. The El Castillo Pyramid Temple of Kukulkan is the most striking testament to the Maya's architectural prowess. This structure stands nearly 24 meters high, with each face comprising 91 steps, plus the top platform totaling 365 steps, matching the days of the solar year. Every aspect of its shape, proportions, and orientation follows strict astronomical rules. The pyramid's peak always catches sunlight exactly during the spring and autumn equinox. On these 2 days, slanting sunlight creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down the steps, connecting to the stone serpent head at the pyramid's base. This is not only a feat of visual artistry, but also proof of the Maya's deep understanding of the Earth's and Sun's cycles and their incredible precision in construction. When you clap at the base of the pyramid, the echo mimics the call of the Quetzal, the Maya's sacred bird. Modern acoustics show that the pyramid's steps and building materials create a unique resonance effect. Was this phenomenon merely accidental, or did the Maya truly grasp acoustic principles and intentionally design it this way? El Caracol, also known as the Snail Observatory, stands out with its uniquely spiral-shaped dome, a type of architecture rarely seen in ancient Central American history. The windows and light shafts here are all arranged in a highly logical way, allowing for precise observation of the positions of the Moon, Venus, and many other important astronomical phenomena. Determining the placement of these openings required the Maya not only to have deep astronomical knowledge, but also to possess construction skills with nearly perfect precision in angles, orientation, and architectural proportions. Some theories suggest that the Maya may have built small-scale models to experiment and make adjustments before starting the actual construction, or that they measured sun shadows and patiently observed the sun over many consecutive years to fine-tune the position of each light shaft and the main axis of the structure. However, what continues to puzzle experts is that at that time, the Maya did not possess metal measuring tools or precise protractors, so how they could achieve such a high level of technical mastery remains a question without a clear answer. The largest ceremonial ball court at Chichen Itzá stretches nearly 168 meters long, with side walls almost 8 meters high, smooth and steep. Stone hoops are hung over 6 meters above the ground. The players had to throw a heavy rubber ball through them. Notably, a clap at one end will echo clearly to the other, as if the entire court functions as a gigantic natural microphone. Its structure works like a natural sound amplifier. Some theories suggest the court was deliberately designed to maximize acoustic reflection, serving grand ceremonies or adding drama to matches. How did they achieve stadium construction with such acoustic effects without any modern measuring devices? Not only limited to lifeless stone blocks, Chichen Itza is also distinguished by thousands of bas-reliefs, stone statues, and columns, all intricately carved with delicate patterns, perfect depth, and countless hidden artistic details. Structures like the skull platform, Tzompantli, the Temple of the Warriors, and the giant serpent columns clearly showcase the Mayas' masterful tool control, exceptional carving skills, and remarkable ability to calculate load bearing and distribute weight. Yet, to this day, archaeologists still cannot fully explain how the Maya were able to carve such complex patterns into hard limestone without breaking or cracking the stone. It remains a mystery whether they used special compounds to temporarily soften the rock, or whether they had developed some kind of superior stone knives, wooden axes, or other advanced stoneworking technology that we have yet to discover. After the 13th century, Chichen Itza was suddenly abandoned. The cause remains a major mystery. There is no evidence of large-scale war plague or clear natural disasters. Did these advanced construction techniques, technological secrets, and astronomical knowledge sink along with the city's downfall, never passed on to future generations? Many researchers believe that the abrupt disappearance of this knowledge made it impossible for later generations to replicate buildings like El Castillo or El Caracol, even though the Maya civilization persisted in neighboring regions for centuries afterward. From the 20th century until now, many theories with supernatural elements, even involving extraterrestrial influences, have been proposed to explain the astonishingly advanced construction technology of the Maya. Some suggest that aliens might have once taught the Maya advanced building techniques that modern humanity has yet to uncover. Other theories question whether the secret of stone softening or special limestone concrete techniques have been lost over time, leaving later generations unable to recreate the magnificent structures like Chichen Itza. There are also researchers who believe in the existence of wise men or shamans possessing esoteric knowledge passed down orally to only a very small group within ancient Maya society. However, up to this point, most scholars still lean toward the theory that all of these achievements were the result of the Maya's own intelligence, perseverance, and highly organized social structure. Even so, there remain many dark areas and big questions that have yet to be fully explained. Every structure, every stone at Chichen Itza is a testament to a civilization that was at once pragmatic, mystical, logical, and filled with legend. Questions about its superior construction technology, stone joining methods, acoustics, astronomy, and urban planning will continue to challenge future generations for centuries to come. In the southern reaches of Turkey, along the sun-bathed shores of the Mediterranean, nestled between towering limestone mountains and lush valleys, lies an ancient world shrouded in silence. This is the land of Lycia and its legendary rock tombs. Without fanfare or ostentation, the Lycian tombs cling solemnly to steep cliffs carved into stone, to tell stories that transcend time and challenge the very limits of modern science and human imagination. Anyone who has ever stood before these tombs, whether archaeologist or traveler, cannot help but be stunned by their awe-inspiring and mysterious beauty, all while carrying countless questions within: who built these monumental works? By what means did they carve stone transport materials and create an entire city of the dead that hangs suspended from the cliffs? What do you think about the mysteries of Lycian construction, transportation, and craftsmanship? Could they have possessed secrets we have yet to discover? Share your thoughts in the comments below. More than 2,000 years ago, Lycia was home to a flourishing civilization independent from both the Greeks and the Romans. In their beliefs, death was not the end, but the beginning of an eternal journey toward the realm of the gods. Because of this, the Lycians poured extraordinary effort into constructing their unique tombs, from stone sarcophagi resting in valley floors to miniature temples clinging to sheer cliffs. There are three main types of tombs: rock-cut tombs carved directly into the mountain, temple tombs featuring facades resembling miniature Greek temples, and sarcophagi with tall arched lids shaped like upturned boats. Of these, the most striking are the rock-cut tombs perched precariously on cliffsides in places like Myra Dalyan or Fethiye, where each tomb resembles a mysterious fortress that defies every force of nature. The ancient Lycians believed that the souls of the dead would be carried to the sky by sacred birds, so their tombs were often built as high as possible. Only those belonging to the noble class or of great status could be interred high above as a way of approaching the gods. Choosing such perilous locations was not only a spiritual act, but also served to overwhelm the living, making it seem as if an entire city of the dead floats between earth and sky, its reflection cast on rivers and villages below. The greatest mystery surrounding the Lycian rock tombs lies in how these magnificent cliffside tombs were constructed, how materials were transported, and how such intricate carvings were achieved at dizzying heights. Imagine hundreds of tombs with elaborate facades, stone columns, vaulted roofs, and meticulously sculpted figures, all created on near vertical cliff faces, sometimes rising several dozen meters above the valley floor, so that from below they appear as cold, sharp silhouettes etched against the blue sky. With only the technology available more than 2,000 years ago, how could the Lycians have accomplished such a feat? Unlike conventional buildings assembled from blocks, the rock-cut tombs of Lycia were monolithic creations. Massive blocks of stone were hollowed out and sculpted right on the cliff itself. To shape these complex facades, the artisans had to precisely determine the plane of the stone, the positions of each column and motif, and even the interior depth, ensuring both aesthetic harmony and structural durability against centuries of wind and rain. Traces left behind suggest that the Lycians used only simple iron tools, such as hammers, chisels, and bronze wire saws, combined with truly extraordinary craftsmanship. Particularly impressive was their ability to read the natural grain of the rock, avoiding cracks, controlling the force of each blow, and preserving the mountain's natural strength. Yet a major enigma remains. How did the craftsmen of the ancient world stand securely on sheer cliff faces for months at a time, patiently carving these masterpieces? Some modern scholars theorize that they may have built wooden scaffolds anchored into rock crevices, augmented with rope ladders and support lines suspended from the cliff top. But the treacherous terrain, great heights, and the immense weight of materials meant that one small mistake could bring the entire scaffold crashing down, destroying both worker and work. Nearly no traces of such scaffolding remain, as wood would have long since decayed. So much of this remains speculation. Other theories propose that the Lycians painstakingly carved tiny footholds directly into the rock, gradually ascending and then widening their workspace, a method demanding extraordinary physical strength and unyielding determination. If the facade could be carved on-site, transporting materials such as decorative stones, tomb lids, statues, and especially massive stone sarcophagi to these lofty heights posed a challenge of a different order. Some tomb lids weighing several tons rest atop tombs perched high above the ground. Did the Lycians push-pull or somehow fly these colossal stones up the cliffs? Some suggest the use of temporary roads, pulley systems, or levers, but archaeological remains have yet to reveal clear evidence of such technology. Other more speculative theories hint at now lost engineering techniques or physical knowledge beyond our current understanding. Even more astonishing is the endurance of these tombs themselves. Despite thousands of years of exposure to harsh weather, earthquakes, and erosion, many rock tombs remain nearly intact, with their details sharp and their facades robust. Studies reveal that the Lycians selected especially solid limestone outcrops, reading the stone's structure before carving to avoid weaknesses. They may have used special surface reinforcement methods, sealing cracks with unknown substances whose composition and function remain an unsolved mystery to this day. Entering these tombs, one finds small chambers, polished stone floors, platforms for coffins, and occasionally carvings or mysterious symbols. Some tombs still bear traces of burial goods, statuettes, or religious emblems. Lycian script inscriptions on tomb walls, many lines of which remain undeciphered, add even more mystery to the stories of Lycian life, death, and folklore. The larger and more perilously situated a tomb, the more it reflected the power and status of the deceased. Commoners were interred lower down, while nobles and kings reached the highest heavens, both literally and figuratively. This reflected a strictly hierarchical society and a belief that death was a journey requiring the protection of the gods and the most solemn rituals. Many tombs are inscribed in ancient Lycian, a language scarcely known, only partially deciphered. This has baffled archaeologists. Could there be lost construction secrets or unique religious beliefs now vanished forever? Indeed, the Lycian civilization itself mysteriously faded from history, leaving these stone mausoleums as its only surviving testament. Once a mighty nation that resisted the Persians, Greeks, and Romans, they eventually disappeared through assimilation and obscurity. Perhaps these cliffside tombs are the final library of memory awaiting future generations to decipher. Beyond their archaeological significance, Lycian tombs are the center of many local legends. Villagers tell stories of mysterious lights, strange noises, and wandering spirits at night around the tombs. Some believe these are gateways to another world, where souls linger, protecting the ancient secrets of the Lycians. Over centuries, despite disasters, wars, earthquakes, and both human and natural destruction, most tombs remain standing undaunted by every challenge. This speaks not only to Lycian craftsmanship and engineering, but also to an unsolved mystery about their technology, materials, and unyielding belief in immortality. The Lycian rock tombs are a unique testament to the intersection of ancient art, religion, and engineering. Despite numerous theories, no one has truly explained how the Lycians, using only primitive tools, were able to construct such enduring monuments on treacherous cliffs. Perhaps deep within those stones, there are still secrets of lost techniques or forgotten knowledge. This very mystery is what makes the Lycian rock tombs so fascinating, continuously challenging the curiosity and intellect of humankind. There are ancient cities that leave behind no explanations, only stone and questions that defy time. Teotihuacan is one such mystery, a city of the gods rising in the heart of the Mexican Valley, built from millions of tons of stone, with colossal pyramids, perfectly straight avenues, deep subterranean tunnels, and layers of strange materials that modern science still cannot fully replicate. No one knows the city's true name nor the identities of the engineers and artisans who constructed it, and even less is known about why every trace of culture, writing, and legend has vanished with time. The only things that remain are the immortal stone structures themselves, concealing within their cores construction techniques and technologies far beyond the ordinary standards of the ancient world. Teotihuacan is not just an archaeological site, it is an engineering code that humanity is still striving to decipher generation after generation. What do you think is the greatest construction mystery of Teotihuacan? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Teotihuacan was not merely a collection of grand pyramids or temples for the gods, but a true metropolis of enormous scale and perfect urban planning. At its zenith from the 1st to the 7th centuries, its population may have reached 100 to 200,000 people, a massive number compared to other ancient civilizations worldwide. What remains today? Endless avenues, colossal pyramids, plazas, residential quarters, temples, and ceremonial precincts all follow a symmetric scientific layout imbued with deep symbolic meaning. What astonishes modern archaeologists and engineers is the uniformity and precision of the urban planning, as if the entire city was built according to an extremely detailed master plan, with major and minor roads intricately connected and important structures arranged along astronomical axes, aligned with constellations, equinoxes, and solstices, embedding a cosmic code that still eludes full decipherment. The Pyramid of the Sun is one of Teotihuacan's most famous structures and also one of the 3 largest pyramids in the world. With a height of approximately 65 meters and each base nearly 225 meters long, this pyramid was constructed using over 1 million tons of stone, stacked without the use of mortar. The builders used volcanic rock blocks, quarried and transported from afar, then meticulously shaped and stacked in secure tiers, creating a structure that has stood firm for thousands of years, despite earthquakes and harsh weather. Moreover, the outer layers of the pyramid were once coated with a special mortar mixed with minerals, giving it a bright, red, glossy finish, making the pyramid shine like a volcano in the valley in ancient times. To this day, the exact recipe for this coating remains unknown. Its unique chemical composition provided water resistance, decay prevention, and enhanced the durability of the entire structure. One of the most astonishing technological discoveries was the use of liquid mercury in subterranean constructions at Teotihuacan. During excavations under the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, Quetzalcoatl, archaeologists discovered channels and pools filled with liquid mercury, along with pyrite spheres and precious stones that reflected light. For modern people, extracting, refining, and storing mercury is a formidable challenge. Yet the people of Teotihuacan, more than 2,000 years ago, managed to use it in large quantities. Many theories suggest that these mercury-filled chambers were meant to simulate the river of the underworld, or served as elements in religious rituals, symbolizing the transition between the earthly and the divine. Some even hypothesize a technological purpose possibly related to energy transmission, light reflection, or even cooling mechanisms for a mysterious system within the pyramid. Teotihuacan is renowned for its use of a variety of building materials that to this day continue to puzzle scientists not only in terms of craftsmanship, but also purpose. One of the most mysterious is mica, a mineral with excellent insulating and heat-resistant properties typically found only in distant regions of South or North America. Massive sheets of mica were transported from afar by the builders of Teotihuacan and embedded deep between the stone layers inside the pyramids, completely hidden from view and serving no decorative purpose, as if they fulfilled some mysterious technical function that has yet to be decoded. Beyond mica, the ancients also used volcanic rock, tzontli, a lightweight yet extremely durable material with good sound and thermal insulation properties. Volcanic stone was often used as an outer layer or sandwiched between other stone layers to reduce the overall weight and increase the stability of these massive structures. Notably, the exterior walls of the pyramids were once coated with a special mortar, similar in composition to modern cement, mixed with minerals that provided water resistance, abrasion resistance, and long-lasting color retention over time. Beneath many pyramids and temples lies a network of tunnels, subterranean chambers, and hidden vaults, excavated with remarkable sophistication, featuring arches, domes, or miniature cosmos designs, for example, round rooms with gemstones arranged like planets. Some tunnels have walls and floors clad in precious stones or mica, or coated with reflective iron powder, both for illumination and to create supernatural effects during mysterious rituals. Especially in the Pyramid of the Sun and the Temple of the Feathered Serpent, some tunnels are utterly mysterious, showing no signs of conventional digging tools. Their stone blocks fit perfectly as if cut by laser. Archaeologists still cannot explain what technologies or tools were used to achieve such feats more than 2 millennia ago. Teotihuacan is not only astonishing for its advanced construction techniques, but also stands as clear evidence of the remarkably high level of mathematics and astronomy achieved by ancient people. The city's pyramids, avenues, and plazas are all oriented in alignment with astronomical phenomena. Most notably, the axis of the Avenue of the Dead is tilted about 15.5 degrees from true north, exactly matching the sunrise position at the summer solstice, or the alignment of major constellations like Orion. Furthermore, the distances and proportions between the main pyramids are specially related to astronomical measurements, creating a numerical code that researchers still have not fully decoded. In addition, the number of steps, the blocks in each tier, and even the number of rooms on each level may represent sacred numbers connected to the cycles of the Maya calendar, astronomical milestones, or cosmological beliefs. All these details demonstrate the seamless integration of architecture, mathematics, and astronomy in every aspect of Teotihuacan. A major mystery of Teotihuacan is how people transported and assembled millions of tons of stone, mica, and other materials from quarries hundreds of kilometers away over hills and rivers without any modern machinery. Large stone blocks, weighing tens of tons, were set in place with extraordinary precision and almost no gaps, an engineering feat that is challenging even for modern technology. Many hypotheses have been proposed using wooden rollers, slides, teams of laborers, or other yet unknown mysterious methods. Given the sheer quantity and speed of construction, it seems likely that the people of Teotihuacan possessed special skills, secrets, or technologies that have yet to be uncovered by later generations. The technical achievements of Teotihuacan have become legendary and inspired many subsequent civilizations, especially the Aztecs, who found the city abandoned, saw it as a place where gods became flesh, and tried to imitate its construction techniques, though never achieving the same level of mastery. Even modern architecture has drawn lessons from Teotihuacan's use of materials, earthquake-resistant methods, urban planning, and symbolic design. The remaining structures still stand firm, enduring the test of time and nature as evidence of the immortality of their advanced engineering. All these achievements in construction and technology at Teotihuacan are just the tip of the iceberg. The greatest mystery remains: who created all these wonders? How did they learn, transmit, and ultimately lose these secrets? Why did such a powerful civilization with such advanced technology and skills suddenly disappear, leaving behind immortal monuments, but no clear records, no myths, no descendants to inherit their legacy? There are places whose very names evoke mystery, where every brick and every spire carries secrets from the past. Bagan is one such land, a place where the winds of time have failed to erase humanity's unfinished stories. Across the sun-scorched plains of central Myanmar, more than 3,000 ancient temples, pagodas, and stupas rise together from the red sands, forming a silent and surreal horizon. As the sun climbs higher, the landscape transforms into a mythical maze, where every viewpoint is struck by the beauty and grandeur of a sacred city that has endured for over a millennium. To step into Bagan is not merely to wander among ancient ruins, but to enter a world of unanswered mysteries, where history, engineering, and myth converge within every brick and every fading shadow of the setting sun. What do you think is Bagan's greatest mystery? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Bagan began to be built in the 9th century, when the land was still a wild region inhabited by the Mon and Burman peoples. Under the reigns of kings like Anarata Kiansitha and Alaung Sithu, Bagan rose to become the largest religious, commercial, artistic, and scholarly center in Southeast Asia. But what made Bagan legendary is precisely its endless sea of temples, the result of over 4 centuries of non-stop construction, with a total of over 10,000 structures once existing. Today, only about 2,000 to 3,000 temples remain intact or partially preserved. The architecture of Bagan stands as vivid evidence of the intelligence and exceptional skill of the ancient people, who had no modern machines, no reinforced concrete, yet managed to create structures that have endured for centuries in a disaster-prone land. One of Bagan's greatest mysteries lies in its advanced brickwork techniques, compact bricks fired at high temperatures with high silica content, possessing remarkable strength and heat resistance. During construction, builders either used no mortar at all or only the thinnest layer, yet the meter-thick walls have stood the test of time, resilient against harsh weather and powerful earthquakes. Archaeologists and modern material engineers alike must admit that Bagan's brick processing and stacking techniques rank among the world's greatest enigmas. Many reconstruction experiments still fail to recreate the flawless bonding of the original structures. Another remarkable aspect of Bagan's architecture is its grand domes, extremely complex structural forms requiring masterful construction skills, sometimes considered even more challenging than building the Egyptian pyramids. Many large temples, such as Ananda Thatbainu and Damayangi, feature massive domed roofs with perfectly curved lines that bear tremendous weight without a single supporting column in the middle. Inside these temples, a series of interconnected rooms are arranged to create natural ventilation, keeping the air cool in summer and warm in winter. This is not only an aesthetic solution, but also an ingenious aerodynamic design rarely seen in other civilizations of the same era. Another special feature of Bagan lies in its miraculous natural lighting and ventilation systems. Many temples were designed so that even without electricity, their interiors remain softly illuminated, thanks to the skillful placement of windows and skylights. Daylight weaves through small openings, reflecting off walls and ceilings, then diffuses gently throughout the main chambers. This system not only conserves materials, but also enhances the spiritual atmosphere, as beams of light are guided to create sacred pillars of illumination, an element of great importance in ancient Buddhist rituals. What astonishes researchers most is the earthquake resistance of Bagan's monuments. Despite being located in a region frequently struck by strong earthquakes, most of the major temples and stupas have stood firm for centuries, whereas many modern structures have suffered serious damage. The secret of the ancients lies in the shell core structure, with thick, multi-layered brick walls, deep and wide foundations, and a clever distribution of weight at the base, making the structures both flexible and crack-resistant during ground shifts. Some temples even have earthquake buffer chambers, spaces between wall layers that provide insulation and absorb shock, further protecting the core structure. Additionally, many temples in Bagan hide secret rooms, concealed passageways or tunnels known only to the builders or certain monks. In some places, brick locks have been discovered, special bricks that, if removed, cause the wall to collapse, used to protect treasures, or as a last defense against invaders. Even with modern equipment frequently employed for exploration, countless secret rooms remain undiscovered, adding further intrigue to this heritage complex. Finally, Bagan's architectural diversity is also evident in its harmonious blending of many styles. Some temples show Hindu influences, some embody the characteristics of Theravada Buddhism, while others combine elements of local folk traditions. This richness not only reflects the cultural fusion of a golden era, but also demonstrates the remarkable creativity and adaptability of Bagan's ancient craftsmen, making this place one of the world's most unique architectural wonders. Alongside its timeless engineering achievements, Bagan also raises a multitude of unresolved questions that continue to captivate both researchers and visitors, fueling their fascination with the mysteries of this ancient land. Who was the mastermind behind the overall design and vision of this vast sea of temples? Some theories suggest that many of Bagan's temples and pagodas were arranged along astronomical axes precisely aligned with the positions of sunrise, sunset, or significant constellations serving purposes of astrology prayer, or perhaps even as a means for the ancients to communicate with the divine. Not only are the grand and famous structures meticulously crafted, but even many smaller, secluded temples, hidden among fields or in quiet corners, were built with the same level of sophistication and care, prompting questions about whether they held special spiritual significance or once served as secret chambers for royal or monastic rituals. In addition, the murals and ancient inscriptions found on the walls and ceilings of many Bagan temples remain only partially deciphered to this day. Many of these mysterious images and enigmatic symbols are thought to encode hidden knowledge about science, astronomy, calendars, or ancient pagan rituals, leaving future generations with countless theories and speculations. Beyond that, another major mystery lies in the technology of brick production. How did the ancients manage to produce hundreds of millions of bricks with such uniform quality, color, and size, using only the rudimentary tools of the medieval era? Although ancient kilns discovered around Bagan have revealed part of the production process, the secret behind the industrial-scale manufacturing of building materials on such a large scale remains a question that continues to challenge researchers to this day. Not only does Bagan astound the world with its timeless engineering, it also leaves a lasting impression on visitors through supernatural and mysterious phenomena that modern science still cannot fully explain. Some of the grand temples possess a remarkable acoustic quality. A mere whisper in one corner can carry throughout the entire space, creating a clear echo effect without the need for any soundproofing materials or supporting devices. This is considered an extremely rare feat of acoustic design, demonstrating the builder's refined understanding of space and sound. Remarkably, even though Bagan sits in a region frequently struck by earthquakes, many of its tall and slender towers have remained standing for centuries, neither leaning nor collapsing as one might expect. Some experts believe that in addition to advanced construction techniques, there may also be hidden secrets related to feng shui or earth energies employed by the ancient pagan builders, contributing to the land's enduring mysteries that remain unsolved to this day. After the fall of the pagan dynasty, many records construction secrets, brickmaking techniques, and site selection criteria were lost or intentionally destroyed. These historical gaps only deepen modern scholars' desire to solve Bagan's mysteries. More than just a World Heritage Site, Bagan is a living treasury of mysteries, where every brick and every spire hides untold stories and knowledge that could change humanity's understanding of ancient engineering, spirituality, and art. Bagan stands as a testament to human creativity and the determination to surpass all limits, yet every structure here still holds countless unresolved mysteries. How did the ancients build such a magnificent sea of temples with techniques far ahead of their time? Could the secrets lost within its bricks, hidden chambers, or unexplored tunnels change our understanding of Southeast Asian history? Bagan is not only a place for spiritual seekers, but also a land for curious minds, where mysteries are still waiting to be unraveled. Hidden deep within the blazing Turpan Depression, where the heat of the Gobi Desert seems to bend both the land and the very flow of history, lies one of Asia's greatest yet most enigmatic ruins, the ancient city of Jiaohe. For more than 2 millennia, this city stood as an oasis of life, culture, commerce, and faith along the legendary Silk Road. The ruins of Jiaohe, strangely well preserved thanks to the arid climate, now stretch across a natural earthen island, lying between 2 dried riverbeds, a location that is both strategic and symbolic. Yet beneath the sun-drenched silent streets of abandoned Jiaohe, one persistent question has haunted archaeologists and storytellers for centuries. Why did Jiaohe disappear? Let's explore the mysteries, the splendor, and above all the unanswered questions surrounding Jiaohe's sudden collapse. What do you think truly caused the mysterious abandonment of Jiaohe? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Unlike most other ancient cities in the world, Jiaohe was not built up, but rather carved directly into the earth. People of the past dug houses, assembly halls, monasteries, and even palaces right into the hard clay, creating an underground city more than 1,650 meters long and up to 300 meters wide. The walls, roofs, and rooms were all sculpted from sun-baked earth itself. No other city in China, or perhaps the world, shares this distinctive dugout architectural style like Jiaohe. Jiaohe itself was a fortress perched atop a natural plateau formed by the convergence of 2 rivers. These rivers acted as natural moats, leaving only a narrow path that was easy to defend. Unlike other fortresses, Jiaohe did not need city walls. The sheer cliffs surrounding the city, sometimes more than 30 meters high, served as natural fortifications just as formidable as any man-made structure. For much of its history, Jiaohe thrived as the center of the ancient Cheshi kingdom, later becoming the regional capital under the Tang dynasty. Its location at the intersection of Chinese, Central Asian, and Indo-European cultures made Jiaohe a bustling trading hub, where merchants, monks, and travelers from far and wide gathered. Within the city, archaeologists have discovered remnants of Buddhist temples, Zoroastrian shrines, and even Nestorian Christian artifacts, showing a remarkable level of religious diversity for its time. Frescoes, steles, and architectural details reveal a multicultural society where beliefs and ideas intermingled freely, just like goods and people in the market. Jiaohe was not just a city, it was a living archive of pluralism along the Silk Road. The Turpan Depression is one of the lowest, driest, and hottest places on Earth. Yet thanks to ingenious irrigation and the presence of two rivers, the people of Jiaohe cultivated fields, orchards, and vineyards that sustained a bustling city for over 2,000 years. Archaeological artifacts, grains, tools, even ancient seeds stand as proof of the resilience and ingenuity of its inhabitants. Ironically, it is this harsh climate that has preserved Jiaohe so well. The lack of rain, low humidity, and sparse modern population have kept the streets, temples, and homes of this ancient city almost intact. Despite its strategic location, prosperity, and cultural wealth, Jiaohe was abandoned in the 14th century, left to the mercy of time and desert sands. And it is here that the real mystery begins, a puzzle that has sparked countless theories, legends, and debates. The Mongol invasions under Genghis Khan and his successors swept through Central Asia in the 13th century, devastating many civilizations, and historical records show that Jiaohe suffered a catastrophic blow from the Mongol armies around 1275. Archaeological excavations have revealed clear signs of fire, charred beams, collapsed structures, and precious belongings suddenly abandoned. For centuries, this has been considered the leading cause of Jiaohe's downfall, but was the Mongol invasion alone enough to erase such a famous city? Another theory highlights the role of climate and environment. Even Jiaohe's ingenious irrigation system could not withstand years of severe drought, shifting river courses or water sources depleted by overuse and upstream activity. The Turpan Basin is notorious for its unpredictable rivers. A single change in the river's course could turn a lush city into desert wasteland within just a few years. Was it perhaps the perfect storm? The combined devastation of Mongol attacks and environmental disaster that brought about the city's end. The 14th century was also a time of widespread epidemic across Eurasia, and some believe that Jiaohe fell victim to waves of disease that decimated its population. Mass graves hastily dug and the absence of any systematic rebuilding further support this hypothesis. Economic decline and political turmoil may also have played a part, as the importance of the Silk Road shifted and new trade routes bypassed. Turpan Jiaohe's economic lifeline may have dried up. At the same time, the region endured severe political instability, with short-lived dynasties, rising and falling alliances constantly changing, and the Yuan-Mongol dynasty gradually dissolving, all contributing to a pervasive sense of insecurity. Did the inhabitants quietly leave when the city was no longer safe or worth living in? Finally, some legends even claim that Jiaohe was abandoned by the gods, or that a curse descended upon the land after centuries of turmoil. There are also stories of sacred treasures and holy scriptures being secretly spirited out of the city under cover of darkness, never to be seen again. Despite more than a century of archaeological research, the full story of Jiaohe's disappearance remains unsolved. Unlike many cities that decline slowly over time, Jiaohe's abandonment happened with alarming suddenness. Many families left their belongings behind, temples were abandoned mid-ceremony. There are no clear records to explain whether it was a single catastrophe or a gradual unraveling. Excavations have uncovered secret tunnels, collapsed underground chambers, and puzzling deep pits. Some areas seem to have been deliberately filled in or sealed off, as if to hide or protect something precious. Could ritual treasures, lost archives, or clues to a deep tragedy so profound the survivors chose to bury it forever still lie beneath Zhao Hei's dust? To this day, locals warn against lingering too long among the ruins at night. Tales of ghosts, hidden treasure, and vanished monks cling to the site. It seems Zhao Hei is not yet done releasing its secrets. Today, the ancient city of Zhao Hei is one of the best preserved ghost cities of the ancient world. Its sunken streets, collapsed buildings, and weathered temples still attract historians, tourists, and adventurers. Walking through the ruins, one cannot help but feel the weight of unanswered questions, the sense that somewhere in this silent earth still lies a truth the desert has yet to reveal. Many hope that new technology, remote sensing, ground-penetrating radar molecular archaeology will one day uncover what really happened in those final days. But perhaps like all truly great mysteries, it is the enigma of Zhao Hei itself that gives it eternal power. The ancient city of Zhao Hei is a symbol of adaptability, creativity, and ultimately the fragility of civilization. Its dramatic downfall is not only a riddle for historians, but also a mirror for the modern world, a warning about the intertwined dangers of war, climate disease, and the relentless wheel of fate. Why did Zhao Hei fall? Perhaps the real answer is not a single event, but a web of disasters, both natural and human-made, written into the bones of the earth, and maybe still hidden somewhere in the shadows of legend. Zhao Hei endures as it has for centuries, both as a splendid monument to the past and as a mystery that will forever haunt the ruins of lost cities. Nestled at the foot of majestic mountains in western Iran, amid the murmur of streams and the shade of ancient trees, Takibistan emerges like a gateway to an era where art and power were woven into mystery. Not as ostentatious as Persepolis, nor as grand as royal tombs elsewhere, this site is a true stone marvel, where each carved line still seems to vibrate with the whispers of the past. Who created these timeless masterpieces, and what methods did they use to transform sheer cliff faces into vivid, sharp, epic murals that have endured for thousands of years through countless seasons of sun and rain? Takibistan proudly guards its secrets, defying every generation to unlock the invincible enigma of Persian rock carving art. What do you think is the greatest mystery of Takibistan? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Takibistan, meaning arch in the garden, lies beside a sweet spring, surrounded by towering mountains. Here, for more than 16 centuries, colossal reliefs have stood firm, despite the passage of time, harsh climate, and countless historical upheavals. Each relief is like a vivid page of history depicting coronations, hunts, and royal audiences of the Sassanid kings, from Ardashir, the second Shapur III, to Khosrow II. Archaeologists, art historians, and mythologists are all amazed by the finesse, realism, and vitality of these figures. Yet what baffles them even more is the carving technique that to this day no one can fully explain. As you approach the majestic stone arches of Takibistan, it is impossible not to be awestruck by the almost surreal refinement in every detail. On hard limestone surfaces and sheer cliffs, every line from the folds of garments and jewelry to each strand of a horse's mane, and the expressions on faces is rendered with incredible precision. Notably, some reliefs are nearly 1 meter deep, with multiple layers of raised and recessed carving, creating a vivid three-dimensional effect, like freestanding sculpture, even though all the forms remain firmly anchored to the cliff face. This leads anyone to raise a series of pressing questions. How between the 4th and 6th centuries could the Persians accurately determine and sketch out large-scale compositions on such rugged terrain? What tools did they use to cut chisel and polish hard limestone at heights several meters above the ground, yet still achieve such flawless detail? How did they manage to adjust proportions and perspective for groups of figures, especially in complex multi-layered hunting scenes, without access to detailed drawings or modern measuring instruments? And above all, how have those sharp lines and delicate features managed to remain intact, neither worn away nor sunken after more than 16 centuries of weathering and the passage of time? Faced with such mysteries, scholars have proposed a variety of theories. Some suggest that Sassanid artisans might have used special alloy hammers and chisels or sophisticated scaffolding systems to access and work on the cliff faces. However, there is no evidence that the Sassanid era ever produced metal tools hard enough on a large scale for such monumental undertakings. Bolder opinions propose that ancient craftsmen possessed secret methods for softening the stone surface using traditional chemical techniques, but this hypothesis remains highly controversial since no trace of such chemicals has ever been found on the reliefs. Even the task of moving hundreds of tons of stone to expand the caves and build arches with blocks over 10 meters high remains a major technical and organizational puzzle, one that researchers have yet to solve definitively. The wonder of Taki Bostan is that ancient artisans didn't simply carve images in stone. They harnessed natural light. As the sun moves, lines become more pronounced or recede, creating dynamic visual shifts. Some reliefs viewed at different times of day reveal changing moods and expressions, hinting at deep mythological meaning. Some even show relief on relief. Main figures are deeply raised, with backgrounds dramatically carved back, fully separating subject and ground. This technique is extremely difficult, requiring near-perfect control of force. A single mistake could ruin the entire work. One of the most remarkable features that makes Taki Bostan a great enigma of the ancient world is that the traces of tools and carving techniques found here are completely unlike those of other famous stone monuments. On the surfaces of many large reliefs, archaeologists have not found the half-moon chisel marks that are so common in the stone carving arts of Egypt or classical Greece. The hard layers of stone deep within each work remain perfectly sharp, with no evidence of edge fractures or cracking when transitioning from the outer layers to the inner ones, as is often seen in many other stone structures. Especially at Taki Bostan, even extremely small details like fingernails, folds of garments, or intricate patterns on armor are rendered with astonishing clarity, even in positions that are very high up and difficult to access or work on. The technique of combining raised relief, sunken relief in seized carving, and open work is also truly astonishing. Ancient artisans did not rely on a single method, but seem to have employed nearly all known stone carving techniques in history and did so on a grand scale, maintaining flawless consistency in both aesthetic and composition. This demonstrates that the technical level and creativity of these ancient people far exceeded what we have often imagined about their era. Not only the techniques themselves, but also the methods of training and organizing labor remain major mysteries. To this day, researchers have yet to find any documents, drawings, or traces relating to carving workshops or models that were made before the actual work commenced. It seems that the artisans of the Sassanid era mastered advanced principles of geometry and mathematics rivaling those of Egyptian or Greek architects, yet they left no written record or legend about these extraordinary skills for future generations. A striking aspect of Taki Bostan is that its importance is not just technical, but symbolic, mythological, and political. Images of gods like Mithra and Ahura Mazda, alongside kings, lotus flowers, halos, mythical beasts, all are sculpted with meticulous accuracy, with symbolic meanings still debated by scholars today. Many motifs have never been found at other sites: winged lions complex, sacred flowers, or certain weapons and armor unknown in other archaeological finds. Some believe that the perfection of carving here was meant to emphasize the absolute power of Sassanid monarchy. To conquer stone is to conquer both nature and the divine. The epic hunting scenes Khosrow II astride his charger elephant hunts by boat, all are displays of technical prowess and authority, painting a surreal world where myth and history merge. Modern research teams, even using three-dimensional scanning technology and microscopic cut analysis, still can't precisely reconstruct the process used by Sassanid artisans. Some have tried with iron and hardened copper tools, even modern electric chisels, but the rock structure and the site's geography make true reproduction nearly impossible. Some think beyond superb technique, the artisans had a way to soften stone or used secret solutions to prepare surfaces, but there's still no scientific evidence. It's also possible that these Sassanid master carvers were groups of nomadic artisans absorbing influences from India, Rome, and Greece, yet somehow developed a unique superior method, one that was lost and never recreated by later generations. Perhaps the greatest mystery of Takhi-Bostan lies not just in the tools, but in its technology of endurance. Despite more than 1,600 years of changeable climate, the reliefs remain sharp, barely eroded. Many materials experts admit that the site's stone surface seems to have been specially treated or naturally highly durable, dramatically slowing weathering. Or perhaps the ancients chose exactly the right stone, the right cliff face sheltered from wind, minimally acid rain, combined with miraculous surface techniques not yet understood today. Takhi-Bostan is not just an archaeological monument, but a symbol of intellect, creativity, and humanity's determination to conquer nature. Its mysterious carving techniques have inspired countless generations of artists and architects, from Persia and India to the Middle East and even medieval Europe, where relief art flourished. Yet even now, despite massive scientific advances, the mysteries of Takhi-Bostan's creation, preservation, and endurance remain profound, challenging every effort at explanation. If Persepolis is the wonder of palatial architecture, then Takhi-Bostan deserves to be called the wonder of invincible stone-carving art. It is not just a place where royal symbols are preserved, but a mysterious message from the past to the present. Only when people understand, conquer, and harmonize with stone, with nature, can they create immortal legacies. And because of its as-yet unsolved carving mysteries, Takhi-Bostan will forever stand among the world's greatest wonders, where every carved line remains a question mark for humanity's imagination and ambition. Not every great city basks openly under the sun. Some once thriving urban centers have slipped quietly into the silence of the deep jungle, leaving behind only haunting traces for future generations. Hidden beneath the dense canopy on Kenya's coastline, Gedi Ruins stands as a challenge to the modern world. It is absent from grand historical chronicles. Not a single king's name is associated with it, and yet it boasts ruins that astonish all who see them: ramparts, temples, palaces, and streets, all built entirely from coral stone, using techniques so refined that they remain a mystery to this day. Gedi is not just the remains of a lost city, it is a gateway to countless secrets about what humanity once achieved and then left forever hidden in the heart of the green forest. What do you think is the greatest mystery of the Gedi ruins? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Gedi does not lie by the seashore, like most other Swahili trading cities, but is swallowed by forest, as if nature itself wanted to hide it from the eyes of humankind. Yet the strange thing is, even though it lies deep within the jungle, all of Gedi's structures, both large and small, are built from coral stone, a material extremely difficult to extract, transport, and craft. The fortress walls, palaces, houses, arches, and temples all use carefully layered coral stone, fitted so tightly that for hundreds of years they have barely collapsed despite the humid climate, heavy rains, and even occasional light earthquakes. These coral stones were precisely cut, their joints perfectly aligned, their corners square, and some parts even polished smooth, or carved with motifs characteristic of Swahili culture, blended with Arabic and Persian influences. The greatest question haunting archaeologists: how did the people of Gedi cut, transport, and erect walls as tall as 4 meters and almost 1 meter thick, entirely of coral stone? Without modern metal tools, with no evidence of stone workshops, and no traces of pulley or hoisting systems, the challenge of extracting coral from the sea or reefs was already formidable. Bringing it into the forest, then shaping it with such finesse to build a solid city, is far beyond what one would expect from an East African civilization of the 13th to 17th centuries. Some theories propose that the people of Gedi might have used limestone tools or harder locally sourced materials to work the coral stone. Others suggest techniques like layered wall construction, natural adhesives, tree resin, lime, mud, sea sand, or mortise and tenon joints similar to ancient Egyptian monuments. But so far, no clear evidence has been found for how coral stone was shaped and assembled at Gedi, making the entire construction process seem to have vanished from history. Not only plain walls, but Gedi's buildings feature arched doors, pillars, decorative ledges, geometric patterns, and large gates reminiscent of the Middle East. Narrow walkways, paved with coral tiles, underground water channels winding around houses, doors precisely crafted to fit coral frames. All these create a sense of modernity, far surpassing other villages of the same era in East Africa. It begs the question, was Gedi's construction purely manual labor, or did it involve some greater secret, perhaps lost technical knowledge? Even the wells as deep as 8 meters have walls lined with coral stones, arranged in perfect circles, still sturdy after hundreds of years. An achievement that would earn the admiration of today's architects. In Gedi's architecture, one can easily spot strong cultural fusions, horseshoe-shaped arches of Arabic design, Persian-like glazed tile reliefs, and courtyards with wells as seen in desert cities. This gives rise to speculation that Gedi's builders might have had contact with or acquired building knowledge from Arab, Persian, or even Indian merchants. But how could this be when Gedi is covered by jungle and has no direct seaport? There are no found records, blueprints, or any evidence of professional builders arriving from afar. This only deepens the mystery surrounding the Gedi ruins. A stone city in the forest, yet Gedi's residents enjoyed clean water systems underground. Wells, rainwater systems, and separate sewage systems for each home. A rarity among East African towns of the Middle Ages. All storage tanks and water channels were made entirely of coral stone, fitted so tightly as to be almost leak-proof, providing safe living conditions, even without modern cement technology. These discoveries further support the idea that Gedi's expertise in building with coral stone surpassed that of neighboring civilizations. Coral stone is unlike regular mountain stone. It is porous, light, but very difficult to cut smoothly and easily shattered if struck too hard. Choosing this material shows a profound understanding of nature and local climate. Thanks to its insulating and moisture-absorbing properties, coral stone keeps Gedi's buildings cool in the tropical forest and prevents mold and pests. But the entire process of selecting, extracting, transporting, and turning it into multi-story buildings, pillars, and fortress walls is a secret art that no one has fully replicated in the modern age. Hidden deep in the forest, Gedi was once an international trade hub. Archaeologists have uncovered Chinese porcelain, Persian glassware, Arabic coins, and Indian jewelry within coral stone houses. This proves Getty's people were not only skilled builders, but also wealthy enough to import luxury goods from Asia and Europe. Yet no historical records exist of a Getty dynasty, no known kings or founders, and no one can explain how such a thriving city vanished from African history. Today, what remains of Getty are the coral stone palaces, grand mosques, arches, multi-room houses, and tombs, covering almost 40 hectares. The large, ornately carved tombs blend Islamic and local religious motifs, further enhancing the mysterious aura of this lost city. Locals believe the ruins are protected by ancient spirits, and only those with true respect are permitted to explore deeply. Astonishingly, there are no traces of destruction, burning, or mass injuries common in dead cities. This coral stone city was abandoned in the 17th century for unknown reasons. There were no major famines, no recorded epidemics, and no battles noted in historical documents. Did the inhabitants leave in silence, or were they swept away by a natural disaster unknown to us? Or was it simply a mysterious shift in trade or religion that history overlooked? Today, Getty Ruins is recognized by UNESCO as a heritage site, attracting thousands of researchers, tourists, and mystery enthusiasts. Every coral stone, every archway, every tomb is a link in a greater unsolved story. Archaeological teams continue quietly excavating, analyzing tool marks, seeking evidence, but all remain theories. Who built Getty Ruins? How did they transform ocean reefs into a vibrant city deep in the jungle? Why did they leave, and where did their advanced techniques disappear to? Getty Ruins is not just a relic. It is a challenge to modern intellect, an endless invitation for those who yearn to uncover ancient secrets. And as long as the coral stone walls still stand strong in the jungle, the questions of miraculous construction techniques and the city's mysterious existence will continue to haunt humanity. Deep beneath the soil of North Wales, a radiant golden cloak lay undisturbed for millennia, holding secrets far beyond the understanding of our modern age. When it was unexpectedly unearthed in 1833, no one could have foreseen that this would become one of the artifacts to leave the entire archaeological world in awe. From its solid gold material and unparalleled craftsmanship to lingering questions about its true owner and purpose, the mold gold cape stands as a golden cipher, challenging every explanation humanity can offer about the technical prowess and ancient civilizations that once thrived on the British Isles. What do you think is the greatest mystery about the mold gold cape? Share your thoughts in the comments below. First, one cannot help but be overwhelmed by the choice of material. The entire cape was crafted from a single sheet of pure gold, so thin as to be unbelievable, yet still retaining remarkable strength and a certain flexibility. In the period from 1600 to 1900 years before the Common Era, gold in Europe was an extremely rare and luxurious substance considered sacred, powerful, and associated with the gods, kings, or high priests. The miraculous aspect here is that ancient people managed to source high-quality gold, refining it into a large sheet without alloying it with other metals, a feat that would seem possible only with modern technology. The very act of refining gold to such purity and creating an unbroken gold sheet nearly half a meter wide is itself a phenomenal achievement. Gold is inherently soft, prone to deformation and tearing if not handled with great care during forging. Yet the mold gold cape seems to defy these physical laws. The layer of gold is embossed with astonishing sharpness, showing no signs of cracking or splitting at bends, even after thousands of years buried underground. This demonstrates that the techniques for embossing, stretching, rolling, and annealing gold in ancient times must have reached a level that even today's science must admire. Analysis shows the gold content is nearly 90 to 95%, with a little copper and silver added for hardness. This perfect alloy ratio is the secret that allowed the cape to be both ultra-thin and strong. Not merely a flat sheet of gold, the mold gold cape is truly a work of art, adorned with exquisitely embossed three-dimensional patterns, demanding exceptional craftsmanship, specialized tools, and a complex production process. Across its surface, rows of circular dots, parallel grooves, stacked triangles, and recessed lines are arranged with a uniformity, depth, and clarity so precise that one would think it was machine-made. It was found that there are over 2,000 small dotted patterns, all handcrafted. Just a minor error would ruin or tear the whole structure. Especially noteworthy, the embossed details and ridges were created using the repoussé technique, raising patterns from the back, combined with chasing refining details from the front, a highly sophisticated process requiring extremely delicate control of force. The goldsmith had to use fine, sturdy, but not overly sharp tools to avoid piercing the thin gold. Just one overly forceful strike would rip the entire sheet. Miraculously, the patterns are all even prominent and show no major repairs. A major question arises: what kinds of hammers, punches, molds, and techniques did ancient people use to create these raised designs, ensuring uniformity without tearing or breaking the gold? To this day, experts attempting to reconstruct the process still face many failures. Very few replicas achieve the same thinness, strength, and pattern quality as the original. Some suggest these craftsmen must have possessed family secrets, custom-made tools, and perhaps even unknown heat-treating or gold-softening techniques never recorded in history. What leaves researchers in awe is the geometric design of the cloak. The cape is shaped to hug the shoulders, chest, and upper back tightly, with two sides fitting snugly, lacking sleeves, a front panel, or a trailing back like modern cloaks. This design was not only intended for ritual purposes, but also optimized to display power. The radiant gold would catch the light and stand out among the crowd during special occasions. To create a single-piece cape with precise curves and folds, the craftsman had to calculate every angle and fold with extraordinary care. Otherwise, even a tiny miscalculation would ruin the entire sheet. The joints, tie holes, and edges were all finished with great finesse. The ancients even drilled small, evenly spaced holes along the edge of the cape to thread leather cords or other organic materials to secure the cloak on the wearer's shoulders, all without tearing the gold. Moreover, the cape was not intended for daily wear. If donned, the wearer could not raise their arms above the shoulder, nor work or fight. This deepens the mystery. Could this have been reserved for ceremonies, displays of power, or perhaps as a sacred armor for the king's priests or most powerful female leaders of the community? The story of the mold gold cape's discovery is also tinged with legend. In the year 1833, a group of workers digging a large mound for building materials accidentally exposed thin, rolled-up gold fragments alongside human bones, pottery, and grave goods. Not realizing their value, some fragments were cut up and sold to local goldsmiths. The remainder was fortunately collected by archaeologists and museums. It took decades, thanks to early sketches, photographs, and the dedication of experts, for most fragments to be pieced together to their original shape, nearly intact, with all patterns still visible. Even so, The gold's origin, the secrets of its metallurgy, and especially the cape's exact purpose remain unanswered questions. Many theories have been proposed. The gold could have come from local mines or distant trade. Perhaps this was a symbol of an isolated civilization that once flourished in the British Isles, but vanished. It's also possible the cape's owner belonged to a noble lineage, led a religious system, or conducted solar rituals embodying the imagery of light power and immortality. The Mold Gold Cape is more than just an artifact. It is the ultimate symbol of power, wealth, and technological achievement of prehistoric society. In many cultures, gold is associated with deities, the sun, and eternal life. Whoever owned this cape, male or female, surely stood at the pinnacle of power, perhaps as an intermediary with the gods, or as an embodiment of light and the harvest. The radiant gold of the cape would dazzle during ceremonies, attracting and dominating all eyes. A single cloak reflects the stature of an entire culture, where artistry, technology, power, and spiritual faith blended, leaving a mark unmatched in human history. Today, the Mold Gold Cape is proudly displayed in the British Museum, an unmissable destination for lovers of archaeology, history, and the goldsmith's art. Not only is it a source of pride for Wales, but also a reminder to humanity of our ancestors' astonishing creativity. Though science has solved many ancient mysteries, the Mold Gold Cape still stands as a golden riddle, challenging generations, where every line, every dot on its surface holds secrets of technology, spirituality, and the pursuit of perfection by prehistoric people. Looking to the future, the mysteries surrounding the Mold Gold Cape remain as a challenge for anyone fascinated by ancient history. Somewhere in this world, could there be technological secrets and masterful techniques that have been lost forever, never to be rediscovered? Who was truly the bearer of light? Who once wore this legendary golden cloak? And how have their power and story been etched into the memory of humanity? And deep within the land of England, how many more timeless treasures still lie silently hidden, waiting for the day they are unearthed to continue telling the mysterious chapters of a once glorious civilization, now faded into the shadows of history? The Mold Gold Cape is not just an archaeological object, but an immortal witness to the talent, intellect, and limitless creative spirit of ancient people. Its golden material and timeless craftsmanship have made it a captivating enigma, challenging generations of scientists, artisans, and all who are entranced by stories of light power and unsolved mysteries. Not the pyramids of Egypt, nor the magnificent ruins of Rome in the wild heart of Sardinia, rises an ancient world of stone, both unfamiliar and challenging to every definition: Su Nuraxi di Baramini. This structure not only astonishes archaeologists, but also stirs profound questions about the origins, purpose, and true intelligence of the prehistoric people who once inhabited this island. After 3,000 years, every stone here remains silent, leaving behind only unanswered questions: who built them, why, and what caused an entire civilization to vanish, leaving only these stone walls as endless riddles for future generations. What do you think was the true purpose of Sunuraxi? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Built between the 17th and 13th centuries, BCE Sunuraxi is the most complete example of the Nuraj type of architecture: truncated conical stone towers made from basalt blocks weighing several tons and constructed without any mortar. At the center stands the main tower, nearly 19 meters high, surrounded by 4 subsidiary towers and interconnected defensive walls, forming a massive stone fortress. Beyond a large village with more than 50 houses, wells, communal courtyards, paths, and water channels, all built from tightly fitted stone, encloses the complex in a defensive layout unprecedented in the Bronze Age. So why did prehistoric Sardinians build Su-Nuraxi? This question has divided archaeologists and historians for centuries. Let's follow the hypotheses that have been and are still being proposed and see why none have yet offered a truly satisfactory answer. To many scholars, the thick walls, small openings, possibly for observation or shooting arrows, and the strategic position on a defensible plain reinforce the idea of a military fortress. It could have been the residence of a chieftain, and warriors, a stronghold against attacks from rival tribes or Mediterranean pirates. Yet if it was only for military use, why was there a need for such a dense network of thousands of nurag all over Sardinia, sometimes only a few kilometers apart? And why do we find within Su-Nuraxi ritual spaces, underground wells, and a labyrinth of interconnected small rooms instead of just simple fortification design? Many archaeological remains, such as stone altars, decorated pottery, and small figurines of humans and animals, show that Su-Nuraxi was not only for military purposes. Some rooms are specially designed with doors oriented to sunrise points or prominent astronomical events, which leads to the theory that this was a ritual center or astronomical observatory. Perhaps Su-Nuraxi was the site of sacrificial rites festivals, honoring water, the sun, fertility, crucial forces for the island's early agricultural society. But if so, why was it built with a solidity far beyond usual religious needs? And were these rituals tied to a special priestly or royal class that controlled not only spirituality, but also societal power? With large wells and sophisticated water channels inside and around the complex, many researchers believe Su-Nuraxi was a center for resource coordination, especially water, a vital element in a land often plagued by drought. The layered architecture and houses clustered around the central area suggest a complex social structure where power and resource distribution were tightly controlled. Was this a place for assemblies, collection and redistribution of produce, organizing economic and political activities for an entire community? Still, physical evidence is not clear enough to confirm this, as residential ritual and defensive functions are intertwined in every corner of the structure. The greatest mystery may be why only on Sardinia are there more than 7,000 nuraghi scattered across mountains, plains, and valleys, forming a network that seems arranged according to logic for defense communication or perhaps a spread of power symbols. Some scholars imagine nurag, like Su-Nuraxi, as nodes connecting groups, places to send signals, warn of danger, communicate over long distances with smoke fire or coordinated rituals. Yet no one has conclusively proven this in practice. Could this have been a primitive internet-linking tribal communities, sharing news and organizing alliances in the turbulent times of the Mediterranean? Strangely, despite leaving behind thousands of massive stone structures, the Nuragic civilization left virtually no language writing or clear symbols other than geometric motifs and decorations on pottery and stone. All their knowledge, beliefs, history, and legends were buried with the stone walls. There is no written record describing their construction's purpose, their gods, or even the names of those who built Su-Nuraxi. This makes the structure even more of a silent riddle, one that science can only speculate about based on the physical remains. Another great mystery is their construction techniques. Basalt blocks weighing tons, sometimes as long as 3 meters, were transported from afar and stacked without mortar. yet have stood for 3,000 years, resisting earthquakes, weather wars, and the ravages of time. How did prehistoric people with primitive tools create such a complex and durable living fortress? Did they possess construction secrets, labor organization skills, or spiritual motivation far beyond what later generations could imagine? From the 6th century BCE, the Nuragic civilization faded from history, replaced by waves of Phoenician, Carthaginian, and Roman settlers. Su-Nuraxi, like thousands of other Nurag, became ruins sometimes used as shelters, animal pens, even boundary markers. Sardinian folklore still tells vague legends about giants building stone towers, buried treasures, or spirits guarding the walls, but no one remembers their origins or purpose. In 1997, UNESCO recognized Su-Nuraxi di Burumini as a World Heritage Site, praising it as an exceptional testimony to a unique and unmistakable prehistoric culture. Today, the site continues to attract thousands of archaeologists, historians, and architects, each bringing a theory, a dream, to uncover the truth about a lost world. Some believe Su-Nuraxi is the ultimate symbol of the interplay between power, spirituality, intellect, and the social organizational artistry of the Nuragic people. Others argue the entire Nurag network was the greatest defensive superstructure of prehistoric Europe. Still others favor a spiritual theory, imagining this was a center for communion with the gods, or even a node linking mysterious civilizations beyond the Mediterranean. Whatever the view, each stone in Su-Nuraxi keeps its secret about its true function, a question that challenges future generations to keep searching and decoding. Perhaps it is this unresolved mystery of Su-Nuraxi that eternally captivates modern humanity. Every step through the ancient stone gates, every touch of the millennia-old walls, echoes the same questions: who built this? For what? Who were they? And why did they choose to tell their story in stone, not in words or script? And perhaps the true answer will only come when later generations are ready to accept that some mysteries belong to the deepest nature of human history, where every monumental work is not only a physical trace, but also an intellectual challenge, a perpetual invitation from the past to keep exploring. When speaking of the magnificent works of ancient Rome, people usually think of the Colosseum, the Pantheon, or the massive temples of Rome. But there is a complex that surpasses them all in both scale and mystery. Villa Adriana, Hadrian's villa in Tivoli, about 30 kilometers from Rome. More than just a lavish retreat for Emperor Hadrian, 117 to 138 AD. Villa Adriana is living proof of construction secrets far ahead of its time, many of which continue to puzzle modern engineers and archaeologists. What do you think is the greatest technological mystery hidden in Villa Adriana? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Villa Adriana covers more than 120 hectares, larger than any other royal villa of its time. The entire estate contains hundreds of buildings, palaces, hot and cold, baths, thermae libraries, theaters, temples, swimming pools, gardens, canals, and secret underground passageways. Each zone is linked by a system of tunnels, private walkways, and aqueducts. This scale required planning, construction, irrigation, and organizational techniques on par with any ancient city, if not even more complex. Among the outstanding buildings are Canopus, an artificial elongated lake, the Maritime Theatre, an island theatre within a circular pool, Piazza d'Oro, the Heliocaminus bath, the Hospitalia guest lodgings, and many other villas, each serving different functions. Hadrian was an emperor famous for his love of art and architectural collecting. Villa Adriana was not just a villa. It was a space where Hadrian recreated all the places he loved most from the ancient world. You can find echoes of Egypt, Canopus, Greece, Greek-style temples, the East, and of course, pure Roman architecture with domes, columns, and massive stone walls. Every structure was a creative problem solved by integrating construction solutions, ornamentation, and optimal functionality. Perhaps never before had a villa been so personalized and optimized for the owner's lifestyle, down to every small corner. One of the most remarkable technical achievements of Villa Adriana is its underfloor heating system, Hypocaust, which was installed throughout the baths and many of the villa's important residential areas. Thanks to hollow spaces built beneath the floors, directly connected to external furnaces, heat from the fires would be channeled through brick pipes, spreading evenly across the floors and even into the walls. This allowed both hot and cold baths to maintain a stable temperature year-round, regardless of weather changes. What puzzles modern researchers is how ancient Roman engineers could accurately calculate the flow of hot air, regulate the temperature, and select materials durable enough for the system to function reliably over centuries. To this day, many sections of the Hypocaust remain intact, demonstrating astonishing durability and a well-reasoned design, especially the heat resistance of the chosen construction materials. Moreover, Villa Adriana possessed an exceptionally sophisticated irrigation and water management system. The complex contained dozens of large and small pools, artificial streams, fountains, and canals. All were interconnected by a network of pipes made from ceramic lead and stone, ensuring a constant supply of clean water for daily life, cooling, irrigating the gardens, and replenishing the pools throughout the estate. Notably, the underground channels were designed to prevent overflow and sediment buildup, incorporating simple but effective filtration systems to keep the water perpetually clean. Even the water levels in each area were carefully regulated to create stunning landscape effects like at Canopus, where the still water reflects the sky, and statues creating a magical mirage effect. Additionally, the domed architecture of Villa Adriana is another astonishing highlight. Many structures, such as the Piazza d'Oro, the Helio-Caminus Bath, and the Maritime Theatre, featured large domes that exceeded typical Roman standards, creating open, airy spaces while allowing natural light to pour in through skylights, imparting a sense of luxury and connection to nature. The Maritime Theatre, in particular, is a theatre island in circular form, surrounded by a moat and connected to the mainland by a movable bridge. The interior space was specially designed for the emperor's work and relaxation. The dome here provided insulation in summer, warmth in winter, and superb soundproofing, ideal for private meetings or artistic creation. Beneath Villa Adriana lies an intricate network of secret tunnels and underground passageways connecting nearly all major zones of the complex. Thanks to this, the emperor and his entourage could move discreetly between buildings without fear of being watched, and could conduct ceremonies or private activities entirely separated from guests and visitors. These tunnels are typically wide and well ventilated, equipped with independent drainage systems, and lit in the Roman style. Even today, many portions of the tunnels remain unexcavated, giving rise to numerous theories about the possible concealment of treasures, secret documents, or hidden chambers still yet to be discovered. The success of Villa Adriana also stemmed from the selection of special construction materials and exquisite decorative techniques. Massive stone blocks, fired bricks, and Roman concrete were expertly combined with a proprietary opus cementitium binder, enabling the structures to bear heavy loads, resist cracking, and remain durable for millennia. Some modern studies have found that Roman engineers mixed volcanic ash pozzolana into the cement to create a nearly indestructible binder resistant even to damp environments. The interiors were lavishly decorated with tens of thousands of colorful mosaic tiles marble, imported from far and wide, bronze and stone statues, and even gold leaf applied to important details. The level of craftsmanship and mosaic work at Villa Adriana is regarded as the standard for European interior decoration for centuries that followed. Finally, the design for light regulation and the organization of living spaces at Villa Adriana reveal a vision far ahead of its time. The entire villa was designed to maximize natural light through systems of windows, skylights, spiral staircases, breezeways, and atriums. Each room could be flexibly opened or closed to adjust light airflow or heat depending on the season. Many rooms were oriented south or southwest to capture sunlight during winter, while avoiding heat in the summer. The living spaces themselves were clearly programmed for specific functions: living rooms, bedrooms, banquet halls, libraries, reading rooms, and baths, all with distinct locations and designs reflecting a high degree of personalization for the owner and honored guests. Although scientists and archaeologists have studied Villa Adriana for more than 3 centuries, it remains a treasure trove of mysteries, with many major questions about technology and construction techniques left unsolved. People can't help but wonder how ancient Roman engineers could accurately calculate the strength load-bearing capacity and organize the construction of such massive domed structures using only manual methods without the help of modern machinery. The technologies for water management, waterproofing, and material maintenance are also big mysteries, because while most buildings from the same era have decayed or vanished, Villa Adriana has stood firm over time. Many believe that beneath the villa's grounds there are still undiscovered tunnels and secret chambers, possibly even treasure vaults, libraries, or entire structures that history has never recorded. Furthermore, the presence of many strange symbols and mosaic patterns uncommon in Roman art, found throughout various corners of Villa Adriana, has sparked theories that these may not be mere decoration, but might conceal codes, religious messages, or special meanings that Emperor Hadrian intended to leave for posterity. All these mysteries are still waiting to be explored by future generations. Villa Adriana has been a real school for generations of European engineers, architects, and artists. Renaissance designers like Palladio and Michelangelo learned from and copied many design ideas here. Even modern European mansions and castles echo the influence of Villa Adriana, from spatial organization, landscape, handling water systems, to mosaic art and sculpture. Most notably, UNESCO recognized Villa Adriana as a World Heritage Site in 1999, affirming its value in technology, art, and the many mysteries this villa left behind for posterity. Villa Adriana is not just the opulent resting place of an emperor, but a high-tech laboratory, the place where all the construction, irrigation, decorative, and spatial organization achievements of the Roman Empire converged. Even today, with every excavation, restoration, or renewed study, scientists remain amazed at the sophistication, resilience, and unfathomable mysteries the ancients accomplished. The questions surrounding Villa Adriana's engineering and technology are still major challenges, awakening the curiosity of anyone passionate about archaeology, architecture, and the still unsolved mysteries of the ancient world. Some ancient mysteries aren't found in texts, nor are they mentioned on cuneiform tablets, yet they endure for thousands of years, challenging both modern knowledge and even the boldest imagination. The Hattusa greenstone is one such enigma. Amidst the vast ruins of Hattusa, the former capital of the Hittites on the Anatolian plateau, where the winds have long since buried all traces of power and glory, a strange green stone stands out. Unlike any other stones around it, this block bears no carvings, no ritual markings, yet it was placed right at the heart of the great temple, the most sacred place in this vanished empire. Its presence makes even the most experienced archaeologists, as well as modern visitors, stop and wonder, why does such a unique stone have no explanation? Who brought it here and set it in this place of honor? And what was its true purpose? It's precisely these unanswered questions that have made the Hattusa greenstone one of the most fascinating mysteries of the ancient world. What do you think the true purpose of the Hattusa greenstone was? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Unlike the thousands of limestone, sandstone, or basalt blocks that make up most of Hattusa, the greenstone wears a vivid shade of green, glowing under the afternoon sun, like a hidden treasure. This object is large, nearly rectangular, and polished to perfection. It sits silently, no inscriptions, no carvings, no clues to its purpose. Its difference has puzzled generations of Hittites, Romans, Byzantines, Ottomans, and even modern archaeologists. Geologists have identified it as diopside stone, a type of pyroxene mineral extremely rare in this region. The Hittites must have transported it from some far-off place to the city's center. That feat alone demonstrates the special significance that this ancient civilization assigned to the stone. Even more special, its placement is right in the middle of the great temple's courtyard, a spot reserved for the most sacred rituals. While countless other pillars and statues were destroyed, looted, or lost over thousands of years, the Hattusa greenstone remains untouched, as if it were the immortal soul of Hattusa itself. What puzzles scientists and archaeology enthusiasts most, and is also the greatest fascination of the Hattusa greenstone, is the mystery of its true purpose. There are no records from the Hittites, nor are there any symbols, drawings, or descriptions on surrounding stones or walls that mention its name, function, or meaning. This complete blank in the historical record has given free rein to imagination, academic theories, and even mystical speculation. Some archaeologists argue that the greenstone's central location and unique material suggest it may have served as the principal ritual altar of the Great Temple. The Hittites were famous for their complex religious ceremonies, especially those devoted to the storm god and sun god rites performed to ensure rain, bountiful harvests, and protection for the kingdom. However, others point out that there are no traces of blood ash charcoal or ritual tools around the stone elements typically found near ancient altars. Furthermore, the surface of the stone is completely smooth, unadorned with carvings, which is unlike the decorated altars of tradition, casting doubt on this theory. Another hypothesis suggests the Hattusa greenstone was once the pedestal for a long-lost divine statue, perhaps of gold, bronze, or rare wood, originally placed upon it with honor, but removed or destroyed by historical upheavals. This matches practices in many other ancient civilizations, where special stone bases were used to elevate and venerate deities. Yet archaeologists have found no evidence of a statue ever being affixed here. There are no post-hole sockets or characteristic abrasion marks, making this use all the more difficult to confirm. For believers in mysticism and spirituality, the distinctive green color of diopside brings to mind skystone, a symbol of immortality and a bridge between gods and humans. Even today, many visitors and devotees travel to Hattusa, touching the stone in hopes of receiving cosmic energy, good fortune, or healing. Some people have even reported feeling warmth or a shiver when standing next to the stone. However, modern scientific testing has proven that the Hattusa greenstone emits no magnetic fields, radiation, or any unusual forms of energy. Others see the greenstone as a symbol of supreme power, reserved for the Hittite royalty or priesthood. Perhaps during coronation or other major ceremonies, only the highest-ranking individuals were allowed to approach or stand on the stone, asserting their position with the blessing of the gods. Yet once again, there is no archaeological evidence, such as carvings, depictions, or traces indicating such special rituals ever took place here. Beyond the traditional theories, the Hattusa greenstone has attracted many fringe rumors. Some believe it is the gateway to an underground treasure chamber or a power station left behind by extraterrestrials in prehistoric times. A few speculative documentaries even place the Hattusa greenstone alongside other enigmatic monoliths like Stonehenge and Baalbek, suggesting they are evidence of interaction between ancient humans and advanced civilizations. However, all geological surveys have confirmed there are no tunnels, treasure vaults, or chambers beneath the stone. These tales are little more than folklore, sparking curiosity rather than offering real scientific value. Even though its real purpose is beyond the reach of science, the Hattusa greenstone has become a living symbol of the unsolved mysteries of human history. Its allure comes not only from its rarity, but also from its ability to challenge every effort to explain it, a timeless object amid the destruction and change wrought by centuries. Today, visitors from around the world flock to Hattusa, not just to see the Hittite legacy, but to experience firsthand what it's like to stand before a true mystery. Some gently lay their hands on the stone, eyes closed in prayer, connecting to a distant past. Others simply sit in silence, reflecting on the thousands of years that have passed under its shadow. Archaeologists, meanwhile, continue studying samples' mineral content and geological traces, but must admit there is no certainty about the role of the Hattusa greenstone, except that it is an eternal mystery. When we look back at humanity's long history, there's no shortage of mysteries, from the Moai of Easter Island and Stonehenge in England to the lost temples of South America. But the Hattusa greenstone remains unique, at once familiar and alien, tangible and mystical. Perhaps the mystery itself was its true purpose. Maybe the Hittites meant to leave behind an unsolvable riddle, so that every era could ask its own questions, imagine its own answers, and keep searching for truth. There are mysteries that only grow deeper as time passes. Kami terraced ruins is not simply the remains of an ancient capital, it stands as a silent message carved into stone. Can modern humans truly decipher the secrets of the past? In the heart of Zimbabwe, these massive stone walls were built without mortar, without adhesives, each layer of granite stacked tightly and enduringly across the centuries. No blueprints have been found. No written records explain their creation. Only Kami's enduring presence remains, challenging anyone who encounters it to ask what technologies, techniques, and secrets created this marvel, and what has allowed it to survive until today. What do you think was the true secret behind Kami's construction? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Kami, located to the west of Bulawayo City in Zimbabwe, served as the capital of the Torwa Kingdom from the 15th to the 17th centuries. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site since 1986, Kami stands out, with its terraced stone platforms, walls stretching for hundreds of meters, intricate decorative motifs, waves, nets, fish bones, diamonds, and countless artifacts of iron, copper, gold, ceramics, and glass from distant civilizations, proving a golden era of wealth and global connection. But behind all that splendor, what truly makes Kami a living mystery is its timeless construction technology. Seen from above, Kami appears as a gigantic stone labyrinth with gently curving walls, terraced steps, and stone-paved courtyards arranged in different levels, each layer reflecting a meaning of power, religion, and society. Unlike other ancient structures that often used mortar cement or binding agents, the entire complex of Kami was built entirely with dry stone techniques. Stones of various sizes were meticulously carved to fit together like perfect puzzle pieces. Even without any mortar or adhesives, these stone walls have stood firm for centuries without collapsing or shifting. Some walls rise as high as 7 meters, stretch more than 100 meters long, and are meters thick. The stones are arranged in staggered layers, creating a solid locking block structure that helps distribute force and withstand the tremors of earthquakes. That's why the big question that always haunts scientists is, how did the Torah people achieve this? The mysteries surrounding Kami's construction techniques have long troubled modern scientists, giving rise to numerous theories that remain unanswered. Although the quarries around Kami are not too far away, the process of extracting massive granite blocks, cutting them into nearly perfect rectangular shapes, transporting them uphill, and stacking them with millimeter precision all demanded an extraordinary level of organization, technical skill, and manpower. Marks left on the stones suggest that ancient builders might have used metal tools such as iron or copper. But exactly how they achieved such flat cuts and eliminated every margin of error, especially with stones weighing several tons, remains a great enigma. Many theories propose that the Torah people had their own secret craftsmanship, utilizing levers, pulleys, or perhaps even techniques that we still do not know of today. Moreover, modern researchers have discovered that the walls at Kami are often not built completely vertical, but have a slight curvature, which helps distribute forces when exposed to earthquakes or unstable ground pressure. Each stone is locked in place by being set diagonally and interwoven, so that during tremors, instead of falling outwards, the stones tighten themselves, creating a natural earthquake resistance. This technique is reminiscent of the stonework of the Inca in South America, even though the two civilizations had no direct contact, prompting many to wonder whether a kind of global engineering blueprint may once have existed and been lost. Additionally, the wave mesh and fishbone patterns that appear on the wall surfaces are not only spiritually significant or indicative of power, but many scientists believe they could also serve as markers for weak points, load-bearing areas, or even as a form of technical code guiding future generations in the repair of the walls. Some symbols might be considered dynamic maps, helping to quickly identify and address spots prone to subsidence or cracking due to storms or earthquakes. Beyond that, beneath the walls and courtyards of Kami, archaeologists have also discovered an extremely intelligent underground drainage system, ensuring that rainwater does not erode the stone foundations while still maintaining ideal moisture for the entire structure. Many ceramic pipes, deeply buried and connected to stone wells, both provided water for daily use and offered natural cooling for the largest chambers, a climate control principle not so different from what we use in modern times. To this day, very few ancient construction tools, such as hammers, chisels, or pulleys, have been found at Kami, prompting many to wonder, did the Torah people use consumable technology and then gather up all the tools after finishing construction? Or did they have some special method of reuse? Some theories even suggest the use of resonant sound or other traditional secrets that have been completely lost to time. leaving their stone-laying techniques an unsolved mystery to this day. Even more astonishing is that more than 5 centuries after Kami was abandoned, most of its stone walls still stand firm, undeterred by the ravages of weather, earthquakes, or human activity. This proves that dry stone construction was not only resource-efficient and environmentally friendly, but also remarkably durable, a quality that not all modern buildings can achieve. However, after the Torwa kingdom fell, this mortarless stone-laying technique also seemed to disappear, as later structures in Africa typically used mortar cement or fired bricks instead. This raises the question, was this unique technique a family secret passed down only among royal lines, or did it vanish completely along with the mysterious collapse of an entire civilization? In addition to its construction mysteries, Kami was also a major center of culture and commerce where indigenous peoples had the opportunity to interact with traders from Arabia, Persia, India, and China, a fact evidenced by numerous artifacts such as ceramics, glass, and copper found at the site. The elevated platforms reserved for royalty and nobles, together with clearly tiered terraces and a strict system of stone gateways, contributed to a society that was highly organized and deeply stratified, reflecting both the cultural advancement and social complexity of Kami during its flourishing era. By the end of the 17th century, Kami was suddenly abandoned, without leaving any trace of war, major epidemic, or significant natural disaster, causing an entire, once glorious civilization to vanish in silence. This disappearance brought with it countless mysteries surrounding mortarless construction techniques, astronomical knowledge, geomancy, and even treasures that now exist only in the folklore of Zimbabwe. Today, no matter how far you travel, you'll rarely find a stone monument like Kami, proud and robust, yet gentle as waves, and filled with countless construction mysteries that even modern technology must humbly respect. What we know of Kami, especially its dry stone engineering, is only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath each ancient stone lies a fragment of human history and secrets that time has never erased. Nestled among the verdant hills of Madhya Pradesh, a colossal stone monument has stood in silence for more than 2,000 years, seemingly impervious to all the upheavals of human history. The Sanchi Stupa is not only the oldest surviving Buddhist monument in India, but also a grand enigma of construction techniques, artistic carvings, and secrets never before revealed. Anyone who sets foot here is overwhelmed by a single question. How did ancient people transform lifeless stone blocks into an immortal wonder that endures through time? Beneath its solemn ancient exterior, Sanchi continues to whisper unanswered questions, challenging both modern science and the limits of human imagination. In your opinion, what has allowed the Sanchi Stupa to stand strong for more than 2,000 years? Don't hesitate to share your ideas in the comments below. Sanchi Stupa began construction in the 3rd century BCE under the legendary reign of Ashoka, the king praised for spreading Buddhism across the Indian subcontinent. Curiously, Sanchi is not located on major pilgrimage routes, nor is it a site the Buddha himself ever visited. Yet this location was chosen as the center for an enormous stupa subsidiary shrines and a sprawling monastic complex, turning Sanchi into the Buddhist capital of central India. Why did Ashoka choose Sanchi? That question still sparks debate, as this geographical spot is not particularly notable for religion, trade, or defense. An intriguing hypothesis suggests this land had a sacred history predating Ashoka, or that there once existed an ancient religious community never fully recorded. What leaves a strong impression on anyone visiting Sanchi is the overwhelming sense of solidity and permanence radiating from thousands of tons of stacked stones. The main stupa number 1 features a massive dome, nearly 16 meters tall, with a diameter of approximately 37 meters a size that amazes, especially considering the construction technologies of the 3rd century BCE. Surrounding it are at least 2 smaller stupas, intricately carved stone gateways, Tirana a stone railing, Vedika as well as many monasteries and lesser shrines, all forming an imposing harmonious ensemble. Despite wars, natural disasters, and the wear of centuries, most of Sanchi's structures remain astonishingly intact. The foundations and dome of the main stupa have never sunk, even though the site has experienced minor earthquakes. If architecture is Sanchi's foundation, then sculptural art is its soul. The 4 Tirana gateways erected around the 1st century BCE are highlighted by hundreds of extremely intricate stone reliefs, scenes from the Buddha's life, legends, sacred animals, and mysterious symbols. Researchers have discovered many motifs and signs never seen in canonical Buddhist texts, possibly religious codes, or symbols of ancient secret societies. Even today, some details on the Tirana remain enigmatic to scholars. The eternal value and the most mysterious allure of the Sanchi Stupa lie in its structure and construction techniques, factors that have made even modern scientists repeatedly bow in admiration. The massive dome, Anda, of the stupa was constructed from hundreds of large and small stone slabs, many weighing several tons, arranged so tightly in circular layers that the joints are almost invisible. What is truly astonishing is that the entire dome uses no mortar or any modern adhesive. It relies completely on the principles of self-support gravity and masterful stone-fitting skills. The pressure from the upper layers of stone is distributed evenly downward, allowing the whole structure to stand firm like a man-made mountain. Even after experiencing minor earthquakes or enduring harsh weather for thousands of years, the dome has never cracked or collapsed. Such techniques are usually only seen in other great world heritages, like the Egyptian pyramids, Machu Picchu, or Stonehenge, places often associated with theories of lost knowledge or construction methods ahead of their time. One of the biggest mysteries is the source of the stone used to build the stupa and how it was transported and worked. Surveys show that most of the stone was quarried from 10 to more than 50 kilometers away from Sanchi, and at that time, before the Iron Age, with no trucks or modern cranes moving hundreds of thousands of tons of stone, was an immense challenge. Many theories have been proposed, such as using wooden rollers, teams of people hauling the stones over land, or sliding them on wet sand, but none can fully explain the time manpower or the precise stone setting technique down to each centimeter. Modern engineers are amazed when analyzing the dome structure of Sanchi. The stone slabs are assembled in many concentric rings, each layer carefully adjusted to the right tilt so that they lean against each other and transfer pressure downward, minimizing the risk of collapse. Even the base of the dome is reinforced with large foundation stones, helping to distribute the entire weight of thousands of tons. Some geometric analyses show that this structure is very similar to famous Roman and Byzantine domes, yet Sanchi was built at least several hundred years earlier. Not only that, the 4 Tirana gateways around the stupa are masterpieces of upright stonework. Each gateway consists of 2 vertical stone pillars, topped by 3 horizontal stone beams, decorated with dozens of deeply carved reliefs. Remarkably, there are no signs of the pillars having sunk or tilted, despite bearing immense weight and weathering 2,000 years of the elements. This raises a major question. How did ancient craftsmen erect such heavy stone pillars without cranes, drills, or modern scaffolding? Encircling the base of the stupa is the Vedika stone railing system, whose columns and crossbars are connected by mortise and tenon joints similar to ancient East Asian woodworking techniques. The stone joints are so tight that almost no adhesive was needed. After 2,000 years, many sections remain sturdy, neither shifting nor breaking. Another special point is that even after periods of abandonment overgrown with vegetation and battered by rain and wind, The stone surfaces of the Sanchi Stupa are still able to renew themselves thanks to mineral deposits that seep out, sealing small cracks and helping the structure remain intact for the long term. Many modern scientists have collected Sanchi stone samples for research, hoping to uncover the secret of this miraculous self-preservation ability. Even with hundreds of international studies, Sanchi Stupa remains full of mysteries. Why did the Ashoka dynasty pour resources into building a non-traditional structure in a region with no particular significance? How exactly were labor engineering and stone transport organized? What do the strange signs and non-canonical details on the Tirana really mean? Are they secret codes passed down by an esoteric monastic lineage? Many layers of soil and stone beneath the main stupa remain unexcavated. Do even older structures or buried secrets lie below? Sanchi Stupa is not just a destination for tourism and pilgrimage. It has become a source of endless inspiration for architecture, art, archaeology, and even global heritage preservation. Millions have visited, awestruck by the greatness wrought by ancient hands and minds. Many experts call Sanchi India's pyramid or the Stone Symphony, a place where time and human knowledge converge. Sanchi Stupa stands as proof of the wisdom and construction skills beyond their time possessed by ancient Indians, housing a treasure trove of mysteries that modern science still strives to unravel. Here, every stone block, dome, Tirana gateway, or relief carving is not just a physical object, but a spiritual legacy, a message from the past to the future. Some secrets only time has the patience to keep, and only those who never stop searching can touch the truth. Hidden deep in the wild mountains of southwestern New Mexico, United States, the Gila cliff dwellings appear like an endless riddle from prehistoric times. These natural caves, perched precariously among sheer cliffs, contain traces of a community once both complex and creative, the Mimbres Mogollon people who arrived, lived, and then disappeared mysteriously after only a brief period. More than 700 years have passed, yet archaeologists, historians, and adventurous travelers alike continue to ask, why did they choose to build in such a treacherous place? And what made the entire community abandon it, leaving behind silent stone houses amidst the forested mountain? What do you think is the real reason why the Mimbres Mogollon people abandoned these mysterious cliff dwellings? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Gila cliff dwellings are not simply an ancient residential complex. They are masterpieces of adaptation and creativity in the face of a harsh natural world. Large caves carved deep into the limestone cliffs of the Gila River Canyon were fully utilized by the ancients to construct around 40 rooms from stone, wood, and earth, forming a secluded yet sophisticated community. Seen from afar, the entire structure blends into the gray-white colors of the mountains, hidden from fierce winds and the scorching sun of the wild American West. What most puzzles researchers is why the Mimbres Mogollon people chose to live on such treacherous cliffs instead of settling in the flat valley areas, which were far richer in water and fertile soil for cultivation. The caves are located high up, and reaching them requires traversing steep, slippery paths completely inconvenient for daily life, especially for the elderly and young children. However, upon closer examination, it becomes apparent that this very challenging terrain provided some unexpected advantages for defense and survival. The sheer cliffs, deep caves, and narrow entrances formed a natural fortress that was very difficult to attack by surprise. Archaeologists have also found evidence that the ancient inhabitants built defensive walls, designed small entryways, and arranged ventilation holes strategically, so anyone attempting to enter would have to overcome a series of both natural and man-made obstacles. In addition, these cliffside caves maintained a much more stable temperature compared to the outside environment, keeping the residents cool in summer, warm in winter. and protected from sandstorms, intense heat, or heavy rains, common in the southwestern desert. Furthermore, some theories suggest that this era saw waves of migration conflicts between tribes or an increase in marauding groups, so living within the cliffs helped the community reduce the risk of being detected and attacked, ensuring safety for the entire group. In addition to survival-related reasons, many anthropologists believe that the Mimbres Mogollon people's decision to build their homes on cliffsides also stemmed from spiritual and religious meanings. For many indigenous cultures in the Americas, mountains and caves are always considered sacred places where humans can connect with the divine. Constructing homes high on the cliffs was not only a protective measure, but also symbolized a connection between people and the heavens, ancestors, and supernatural forces. According to the legends of the Apache descendants of these ancient inhabitants, the Gila region is regarded as sacred land, a place where ancestral spirits reside. Many drawings and symbols found on the cliff walls in the Gila caves are believed to signify protection prayers for peace or a desire to connect with the spiritual world. During the period from 1200 to 1300, the American Southwest experienced significant climatic upheavals, prolonged droughts, flash floods, and shrinking fresh water sources. Moving higher into these lofty caves allowed the community to better manage water supplies, store food, and protect livestock and property from flooding and other unpredictable disasters. To this day, there is no single answer. It's possible that all the above factors, social upheaval, ancestral legends, and defensive needs combined to drive the Mimbres Mogollon to hide themselves on the cliffs. When stepping into the Gila cliff dwellings, visitors feel as if they are passing through a time machine and returning to a distant past. The system of stone rooms here connects to one another through narrow passageways, including sleeping quarters, a large meeting room, kiva, food storage rooms, fireplaces, and alcoves used for storing belongings. All of these were constructed with extremely meticulous craftsmanship, from neatly stacking the stones and joining the wooden beams with solid mortars and tenon joints to building roofs reinforced with mud plaster mixed with plant fibers for added durability. The items left behind in these rooms, such as uniquely patterned ceramics, stone tools, animal bones, woven fabrics, and braided cords, all demonstrate the advanced technical and artistic skills of the ancient people, as well as their high level of community organization. Notably, on some walls and cave surfaces, there are also abstract drawings and mysterious symbols, which were likely related to their spiritual beliefs, rituals, or served to preserve the collective memory of their community. The greatest mystery surrounding the Gila cliff dwellings is the sudden disappearance of the entire community after only about 20 to 30 years of living there. They abandoned the cliffside dwellings without leaving any clear trace of the reason for their departure. There are no signs of warfare or violent conflict, and the artifacts left behind suggest that the people left in a rather calm manner. Many of their belongings remained intact, not destroyed or showing evidence of haste or panic. Around this mysterious vanishing, researchers have put forward various theories. One theory proposes that climate changes with prolonged periods of drought caused the Gila River to dry up, making survival on the cliffs impossible. Stockpiling food and managing water were only temporary solutions before they were forced to leave in search of new lands. Another theory emphasizes the pressures of conflict, intertribal warfare, or threats from hostile groups in the area. Even though there are no signs of direct violence at the site, external pressures may have led the entire community to proactively withdraw for safety. It is also possible that an epidemic disaster or some other unknown event occurred, forcing them to leave in despair. Some anthropologists suggest that over time, the community's beliefs and traditions changed, causing them to leave Gila to integrate with larger neighboring groups or simply to renew their culture. The strange drawings and mysterious ritual traces left on the cliff walls could be evidence of a profound religious shift that prompted the entire community to seek a new promised land. Ultimately, the phenomenon of a large community suddenly disappearing, as happened at Gila, also occurred with many other ancient cultures in the American Southwest, such as the ancestral Puebloans at Mesa Verde or the Hohokam in Arizona, showing that Gila was perhaps just a small part of a much larger wave of migration and social upheaval that took place across the American West at the end of the 13th century. After leaving Gila, it is likely the Mimbres Mogollon integrated into other tribes such as the Zuni Hopi or Pueblo groups in nearby regions. Traces of language, customs, and beliefs have continued and been passed down over hundreds of years. Today, the Gila Cliff Dwellings have become a National Heritage Site of the United States and are strictly protected. Visitors from all over the world come here to witness firsthand the ancient stone houses nestled deep within the cliffs, to experience the cool, tranquil atmosphere of the caves, to observe the traces of daily life left by ancient people, and to listen to the story of a once thriving community that suddenly vanished without a trace. This site holds not only exceptional archaeological and historical value, providing humanity with a unique perspective on the adaptability, creativity, and social changes of prehistoric people in the American Southwest, but also serves as a limitless source of inspiration for research, cinema, and even legendary tales. The Gila Cliff Dwellings stand as a living museum, preserving the past while also acting as a goldmine of ideas for filmmakers, writers, and scientists around the world, driving them to continue exploring and unraveling the lingering mysteries of this ancient civilization. The Gila Cliff Dwellings remain a symbol of mystery, creativity, and the adaptive power of ancient humanity. Behind the silent stone walls lies a grand story of survival, ceaseless social transformation, and the haunting experience of leaving, starting anew in a distant land. Why did they choose to live on such treacherous cliffs? What compelled them to leave? And how many stories remain, waiting to be uncovered? These are everlasting invitations for those who long to explore the history of humankind. In the basalt highlands of northern Ethiopia, where clouds often shroud the sun and church bells echo through the pristine landscape, there exists a structure that amazes the entire world: Church of St. George, also known as Bete Georgis. Not only is it a source of pride for the Ethiopian people, but this church is also one of the greatest mysteries in the history of human architecture. From the very first glance, anyone is captivated by the grandeur of this monolithic stone church with its perfectly balanced Greek, cross-shaped roof, its four edges sunken deep into the earth. Yet beneath that outer appearance lies a series of unanswered questions about construction techniques. How could people in the Middle Ages with no modern machinery carve out such a massive structure from a single block of stone? The secrets, methods, tools, and even the legendary stories of supernatural assistance all contribute to the church's mystical aura. What do you think? Did medieval people have secret techniques or lost technology to build such a massive monolithic stone church? Or do you believe in the legends of supernatural help? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Unlike all classic constructions built by stacking individual stones, the Church of St. George was carved in reverse. Skilled artisans of the 12th century began at ground level, excavating deep into the solid basalt bedrock to create a gigantic rectangular pit, and then continued to liberate the church's form from within the rock. Every wall, segment, row of columns, window, and dome was continuous. No joints, no discrete assembly. Just the roof alone, seen from above, reveals a Greek cross with perfect symmetry. All four sides equal a geometric feat requiring flawless calculation and an almost unimaginable sense of proportion. Inside the church contains floors, rooms, corridors, windows, wall niches, creating a complete worship space. Every detail is exquisitely crafted, from simple bas-reliefs to religious symbols carved into the walls. So how did Ethiopians of that era determine the proportions, straight lines, right angles, and depths with such absolute precision when they could not view the entire structure until it was finished? Modern science with advanced measurement devices must admit this is among the greatest feats of negative architecture in history. What troubles archaeologists and modern engineers most is the mystery of construction techniques at the Church of St. George. To this day, there is no historical record detailing the construction methods, tools used, or the number and skill level of workers. All that remains are legends and guesses based on the traces left by the structure itself. There is no clear evidence of hammers, chisels, pulleys, or large stone-moving systems, even though it is clear that thousands of tons of stone had to be removed from deep pits, while the entire Lalibela area is set on a rugged, high plateau, far from major settlements, with extremely difficult transportation conditions. No one knows how many laborers were needed or how they transported and disposed of the debris. There are also no traces of ancient scaffolding, anti-collapse systems, or any large-scale construction technology. Some theories suggest that the craftsmen softened the basalt with water before carving or used secret metal tools now lost to history. Some studies propose that medieval Ethiopian engineers might have applied advanced geometric and mathematical principles using ropes, plumb bobs, water levels. Yet this still does not explain the absolute precision achieved on such a large scale as the Church of St. George. Another enigma: the church contains many corridors, water channels, and underground passages connected to other churches in the Lalibela complex, forming a complicated network like an underground city. This system could have served religious drainage or even defensive purposes, but the coordinated design and construction, especially in solid bedrock, is an almost inconceivable feat. When modern science cannot fully explain things, legends about supernatural origins spread even more widely. In Ethiopian epic tradition, King Lalibela, the city's namesake, was guided in a dream by angels on how to build a New Jerusalem in Africa. There is a tale that during the day mortal workers labored. At night, angels continued the work at miraculous speed, enabling the structure to be completed in just a few decades instead of centuries, as with many other monumental projects. Many Ethiopian Christians believe only divine power could enable people of that era to create something of such scale in a short period using simple tools whose traces remain undiscovered. Stories of secret crypts, underground treasures, and tunnels leading to ancient knowledge have also been woven around the Church of St. George, further enhancing its mystical aura. Church of St. George has endured for more than 8 centuries, still standing strong amidst a highland prone to light earthquakes and landslides. Despite centuries of wind and rain, most of its architecture and carvings remain intact, an oddity, given that basalt is susceptible to cracking under strong impact. Researchers have noted that the layout, depth, and drainage were all meticulously calculated, helping the church avoid waterlogging, cracks, or erosion. Additionally, inside the church are phenomena that intrigue both visitors and scholars. Strange echoes in the rather confined space, beams of sunlight passing through stone windows exactly on St. George's feast day each year, creating rare divine light effects. Religiously, this church is not merely a place of worship. To Ethiopians, St. George is the supreme patron saint, a symbol of courage and unshakable faith. Constructing such a grand monument in his honor demonstrates both spiritual power and the exceptional technical prowess of 12th century Ethiopian civilization. All the rock-hewn churches at Lalibela are arranged into a sacred map with a network of ditches and underground passages thought to replicate ancient Jerusalem. The Church of St. George is the final and most perfect church, set apart and standing out from the rest. That is why Beta Georgis has been recognized by UNESCO as one of humanity's most treasured World Heritage Sites. The mysteries surrounding the construction techniques of the Church of St. George continue to spark heated debates among scientists and history enthusiasts alike. Many unanswered questions remain. Did medieval Ethiopian craftsmen possess some special tools, alloys, or lost secrets that allowed them to cut solid basalt so smoothly and precisely? How did they determine the proportions, dimensions, and three-dimensional layout with such perfection while carving from the top down with no room for error? The task of transporting and disposing of thousands of tons of stone in such a remote area without any mechanical aid seems almost impossible. Even more astonishing is how the walls, domes, and stone columns have stood strong for centuries without collapsing, cracking, or sinking. Some believe that beyond human talent and perseverance, there might have been the help of a superior civilization, even supernatural forces that we cannot yet explain. Whenever archaeologists, architects, or engineers visit Lalibela, these questions echo in their minds like a mystery scripture whose last lines no one can ever read. Today, the Church of St. George is not just an ancient relic, but also the largest pilgrimage center for East African Christianity. Millions of people come each year to pray, admire, and search for answers to old mysteries. The church is a source of inspiration for generations of architects, artists, and history lovers worldwide. Beta Georgis also stands as living proof of humanity's strong belief in its own power, in the connection between earth and sky, the divine, and the laboring hand. Even as science continues to advance, the mysteries surrounding the church's construction technique still make all of humanity bow before Ethiopian ancestors, those who turned silent rock into a symbol of faith and eternal art. The Church of St. George is not just a monolithic stone church, but also one of the greatest architectural mysteries in history. It stands as a challenge to human intelligence and creativity, holding countless untold stories and secrets. Perhaps its greatest value is how it sparks curiosity and inspires us to keep searching for what once seemed impossible. While Lascaux and Altamira are celebrated as humanity's earliest art galleries, Koska Cave is more like a submerged museum, a prehistoric artistic treasure trove revealed only to those daring enough to dive beneath the icy waters off the coast of Marseille, France. Yet the most captivating thing about Koska is not merely the art, it's the unresolved mysteries of the ancient humans, the creators who left their indelible marks on the stone before vanishing forever beneath the undercurrents of the Mediterranean. What do you think about the mysteries surrounding Koska Cave? In your opinion, what message did its ancient creators leave for us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Imagine to reach Koska Cave, you must swim through a tunnel submerged 37 meters below sea level. The entrance is like a doorway of death. Only the bravest, most skilled divers can withstand the cold darkness and ever-present risk of getting trapped or running out of air. This immediately raises a modern question. How did prehistoric people, without technology or scuba tanks, ever access this place? The answer: more than 20,000 years ago, when sea levels were hundreds of meters lower than today, Koska was a dry cave deep in the coastal cliffs. But after the last ice age, the rising sea devoured much of the space once inhabited by ancient people, here locking away their secrets in darkness and salt water. Koska the cave is especially fascinating because of the traces of ancient humans still preserved on its walls. Archaeologists have discovered hundreds of animal drawings and mysterious symbols. But the most striking are the 48 black handprints, many of which are missing fingers. These handprints feel like direct messages sent from a distant past, prompting everyone to wonder, who left these marks? Who were they? Why did they intentionally, or perhaps were forced to depict missing fingers when pressing their hands against the rock? Many scientific theories have been proposed to explain this phenomenon. Some believe it was part of a religious ritual, where severed fingers symbolized sacrifice, vows, or coming-of-age ceremonies within the tribe. Others suggest that people may have suffered from frostbite or accidents during hunting or labor that caused their fingers to become necrotic and fall off. There's also the hypothesis that prehistoric artists intentionally created incomplete handprints to convey some secret message or to signify their unique position or special role within the community. However, none of these theories have been truly convincing so far. These handprints continue to challenge our imagination and modern knowledge, opening up endless possibilities about the spiritual life beliefs and even the physical suffering of our ancestors. Koska Cave, unlike most other prehistoric art caves which mainly focus on images of land animals, stands out for its paintings of marine creatures such as seals, whales, fish, and especially the ancient great auk, a flightless bird that once lived in the cold northern Atlantic. The presence of these drawings shows that the ancient people who once inhabited Koska were not just people of the land, but also dwellers of the sea, possessing deep knowledge of and a close connection to the coastal ecosystem. This raises many big questions for researchers. Why are there so many depictions of marine animals found only at Koska? Did a distinct community of prehistoric fishermen once exist here, with lifestyles and beliefs different from traditional hunting groups? Or was the depiction of sea creatures simply a way to pray for luck, safety, or livelihood, or to express strength and confidence when facing the dangers of the ocean? This unique artistic theme has made Koska Cave an especially valuable source, helping scientists gradually reconstruct a panoramic view of social life, living environments, and ancient migration patterns around the Mediterranean. One of the most fascinating mysteries surrounding Koska Cave is why our ancestors dared to venture deep into the rock, plunging themselves into absolute darkness to create paintings and leave their marks. Was this cave once a winter refuge, helping them escape the freezing cold and dangerous predators? Or was it a secret temple, a sacred place where rituals were performed and where handprints and drawings became talismans to protect the community from storms and the unpredictable dangers of the sea? Perhaps more simply, the cave served as a place for storytelling through images, a space to preserve and transmit knowledge, experiences, and memories of the entire tribe across generations. There were no written texts, nor any spoken language for us to decipher. All that remains are the stone walls imbued with manganese pigments, charcoal, and red ochre, each trace like a signature that is both individual and collective for prehistoric people. In this way, they remembered, recorded, and entrusted their souls to eternity, no matter that the ocean would one day swallow everything. It is estimated that as much as 80% of Koska Cave's area has been submerged by the sea. This means that most of what ancient humans once created, paintings, traces of daily life, and possibly even human remains, tool or ritual objects, has disappeared forever or been destroyed by salt water. Yet even the small portion that survives is enough to reveal important clues. The cultural diversity evident in the cave shows that its inhabitants belonged to two distinct cultures, the Gravettian and the Solutrean, separated by thousands of years. This suggests that Koska was a meeting point for many generations. At the same time, The cave tells a larger story about environmental change. Its ancient artists witnessed the rising of the sea and the transformation of their surroundings, forcing them to adapt or ultimately abandon what was once their paradise. This leads to the haunting question: what exactly drove them away? Was the sea rising too rapidly, their resources running out, or was there some other upheaval that modern science has yet to explain? Based on carbon dating results, the fossils discovered, and the artistic styles preserved on the cave walls, scientists are almost certain that the ancient inhabitants of Cosca Cave were modern Homo sapiens, truly creative people who knew how to use tools, create art, and organize their communities in sophisticated ways. Their lives were closely intertwined with the coastal environment. They were not only traditional hunters and gatherers, but may also have been ancient fishermen, adept at fishing and collecting seafood, as clearly shown by the marine animal drawings and other remnants found in the cave. Beyond mere survival, these people also possessed a profound spiritual life, reflected in the missing finger handprints and mysterious motifs on the cave walls, evidence that suggests initiation rites, sacred worship of sea gods, or spiritual practices that modern science can only partially guess at. Today, every dive into Cosca Cave is both a scientific expedition and a silent conversation with prehistoric people. Each drawing, handprint, and black mark on the wall is a profound question about human fate, belief, fear, and the immortal yearning of our species. Have we truly understood them, or only scratched the surface of the past? Are there even greater secrets hidden deeper where no modern human has yet reached? Will the rising sea someday erase all traces, making Cosca a memory forever out of reach? Cosca Cave is more than just an underwater prehistoric art museum. It is a symbol of the desire to live, to create, and to communicate among ancient people, individuals who walked into darkness, braved danger, and left their stories on the cave walls. And though thousands of years have passed, though the waves have erased so many layers of memory, the remaining hands marks and paintings are an eternal reminder of humanity's resilience, hope, and the endless quest for meaning from the distant past to today. Amid the windswept lands of the Shetland Islands, on grasslands deserted by time, stands an ancient monument that silently defies every explanation modern minds can offer. It is neither the stuff of legend, nor does it share the grandeur of more famous stone structures, yet the standing stones of Stanneydale quietly persist, a giant question mark, suspended between past and present. Built in the Neolithic era, this monument is not only a testament to the strength and ingenuity of our ancestors, but also remains a riddle with no answer. What was its true purpose? Since its discovery, Stanneydale has continually left researchers powerless before the shroud of mystery that cloaks its function and role. Each new excavation seems only to open more questions than it answers. What do you think was the true purpose of the standing stones of Stanneydale? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The Stanneydale site sits isolated on the mainland island, where only the wind howls through wild grasslands and sheep roam freely. What strikes archaeologists isn't a familiar stone circle, but a large elliptical stone building with astonishingly thick walls. In this remote expanse, the silent standing stones seem to guard the central structure, as if trying to communicate something modern language cannot decode. Since its discovery in the late 19th century, Stanneydale has puzzled scientists. Its size and structure surpass typical Neolithic dwellings in Shetland, stretching up to 16 meters in length, with sturdy stone walls and neatly paved floors. Notably, no trace of a roof has been found, nor any clear evidence of fireplaces or daily life as seen in other ancient villages. Could it be that this wasn't a house in the usual sense. From the early 20th century, archaeologists referred to this structure as the Stanidale Temple. Yet temple is merely a label chosen based on its large-scale, unusual architecture and remote location amidst wild nature. In reality, there is no archaeological evidence confirming that this place ever served as a site of worship or religious ritual like true temples in the Mediterranean or the Middle East. Many other theories have also been proposed. Some suggest it was a tribal assembly hall where prehistoric people held large community ceremonies, meetings of elders, or perhaps even served as the seat of power for the entire Shetland community of that era. Other scholars question whether this building might have been a center for solar or astronomical rituals, since its special location and the standing stones around it could relate to the observation of natural phenomena like a stone calendar used to measure the cycles of the sun or moon. However, up to now, there is still no measured evidence confirming this hypothesis, nor have any carvings or uniquely aligned axes been discovered as at Stonehenge. Additionally, some hold the view that Stanidale was once a residence reserved for the elite or shamans, given its large size, elaborate construction, and exclusive position atop a highland. Yet the number of artifacts found is too small, and there are no clear signs of daily activity, making this theory also far from fully convincing. What makes the standing stones of Stanidale such a major enigma is the lack of clear physical evidence to confirm any theory. Excavations have yielded only a few shards of pottery, small stone tools, and some faint traces of ancient fires. There is no evidence of sacrifices, no burials, no stores of food, and no sign of large-scale craft production. Even the standing stones encircling the building don't form a perfect ring. Some are scattered, some seem to have toppled or been moved by time and humans. Some suggest these were gateposts leading into a sacred space, while others believe they are remnants of an even larger structure now destroyed. This all leads to a reality. The true function of Stanidale is almost a blank spot in archaeological history. Each researcher can draw their own story, but none can prove it. In the context of all Shetland and even Northern Europe, Stanidale remains unique. Famous stone circles like the Ring of Brodgar in Orkney or Callanish in the Outer Hebrides are circular with upright stones forming grand rings. Neolithic stone houses at Skara Brae Orkney or Jarlshof Shetland are small-roofed and clearly meant for habitation. Stanidale, with its elliptical shape, massive scale, ultra-thick walls, lack of roof, and scattered standing stones, has almost no true siblings for comparison. Some even suggest it reflects influence from southern cultures or is a local variation found only here. Was this once a hub for trade or cultural exchange between islands, or a focal point for a short-lived, now vanished faith? The answer still lies hidden beneath moss and cold stones. One more element heightens Stanidale's allure: its supremely isolated location. The site lies among gently rolling hills, far from modern settlements and other Neolithic sites. Researchers have realized that moving such massive stones here and building on this scale required organization, motivation, and a purpose beyond normal domestic needs. Why did they choose this desolate spot rather than somewhere near water farmland or trade routes? Was it this very isolation that created a sacred space apart from the world for special rituals or activities reserved for a select few? Modern research also suggests the site's location might relate to ancient trackways or natural events such as sunlight on special days of the year. Yet no astronomical discoveries as remarkable as those at Stonehenge have been made, keeping this theory tentative. All arguments, debates, excavations, and research converge on one thing: the true function of the standing stones of Stanleydale remains a complete mystery. If we suppose it was a temple, why is there not a single piece of evidence for rituals, idols, or religious symbols ever existing there? If it was a community assembly hall, why did ancient people build such a grand and solid structure merely for gatherings in such a remote area? Could it be that this community was once much larger and more developed than we imagine? In the case that it served as the residence of local leaders, why is there a total absence of daily life traces? No hearths, no food storage, nor any accompanying personal belongings. And if Stanleydale was intended as an astronomical observatory, where are the specific connections to natural phenomena, light or time cycles, as seen at other famous ancient sites? The most remarkable thing about Stanleydale is truly the silence of its artifacts, as if those who once lived, built, and used this place intentionally erased every trace, or perhaps the monument itself was designed to remain an everlasting enigma for posterity. In our modern era, even with the remarkable advances of archaeological science, Stanleydale remains an unsolved mystery, a reminder that not all secrets of the past are easily uncovered. It is precisely the puzzling purpose of this monument that has become an endless source of fascination for scientists, archaeologists, and explorers alike. One cannot help but wonder, on this cold, desolate land, what did our ancestors once do within these silent stone walls? Was this a sacred place for communing with supernatural forces, or simply a testament to the creativity and enduring spirit of a mysterious civilization? The standing stones of Stanleydale symbolizes human humility before the past. Of all the questions about its true function, perhaps the most important is not finding a final answer, but appreciating the value of the journey to discovery, where every hypothesis, excavation, and visit is a small step on the road to unraveling humanity's story.